Division Series between these two long-suffering franchises, 2 years removed from losing more than 100 games. It is the 2023 American League Division Series on FS1, presented by Booking.com. Texas took Game 1 3-2. We're all set for Game 2. And we welcome you inside. Hope you're having a great Sunday. The Hall of Famer John Smoltz. I'm Joe Davis. We started this series off by talking about the young studs that Baltimore has. But in Game 1, John, it was two Texas youngsters that stole the show.
Yeah, it really was. We know that Texas can score, they can slug, they hit home runs, but it was the two young guys that factored in their win, and a big win. They stay undefeated in the postseason. You see what Carter did at 21 years old, and Josh Young did it at the plate and really did it on the field in a game-saving play. So Texas, even though the big three didn't kind of factor in, the young guys did.
And I guess we're probably burying the lead a little bit here talking about the offense, but that is what they've done all year. Lately, though, John, the pitching, 3 games in this postseason, the Rangers have given up a total of 3 runs.
Yeah, everybody was worried about the pitching rotation, mainly the bullpen, but they have been unbelievable in this run so far. 3 wins, 3 one-run games. That's it, 3 earned runs. It's been remarkable. It's been an emotional change from where they were in the regular season, and they want that to continue. They're going to go deep.
And they've got that guy going today, Jordan Montgomery, who dazzled in the first game of this postseason run. And so yesterday, with that pitching so good, Baltimore scored just 2 runs. The bigger concern, though, John, is that this slump for the Orioles goes back a few weeks, and if they don't figure it out soon, their season's going to end.
Yeah, it does go back a few weeks, and certainly timing is everything in baseball, as we know, and the timing isn't really good right now for these young Orioles. You see the numbers. They don't speak well to a trend moving forward, but I'm telling you, they've been there, done that. This team is relentless. They're not worried about anything. I talked about their way they grind out a game. They've been in series before where it looked like they were going to get swept. They didn't, and I would see the same thing in this series.
All right, so how do they respond here? Game 2 of this best-of-5 series. The youngster Gunnar Henderson and the Orioles trying to get this series tied at a game apiece against the postseason wizard Bruce Bochy, whose team had the gut punch blowing the division the final weekend, only to rally and win the first 3 games of the postseason. Yeah, they've hit, but how about the pitching and the defense leading the way? On the other side, the Orioles handing the ball to a 23-year-old rookie in Grayson Rodriguez, trying to get this series tied up. Game 2 coming up. Great city, great baseball city. Game 2 of the division series just about set to get going on a beautiful day. Temperature in the low 60s. There's a light breeze, and this place is packed to the brims once again. Starting lineup for the Rangers, sponsored by IBM, will look like this today with Marcus Semien to lead things off again. And then it's Corey Seager hitting second. Mitch Garver makes his first appearance of the postseason, batting third and DHing. Adolis Garcia trying to come back from a 4-strikeout game in Game 1. And it's the rookie Carter. Jonah Heim catches. Nathaniel Lowe is at first. Young out of the 8th spot. Leody Taveras in center field hitting 9th. On the mound for the Orioles, the 23-year-old from Nacogdoches, Texas, Grayson Rodriguez, who came back up from the minors in mid-July in that .258 ERA since John is third in the AL.
Yeah, this is a cool customer that's getting better and better. In the second half, he's been dominant. You see the numbers. They made some mechanical adjustments. They made some philosophy adjustments. And watch for the fastball today. The fastball is going to be his weapon up in the zone. If he's going to have success, it's going to be in the top part of the strike zone. He's got all these other pitches. Fastball, changeup are his best 2 pitches.
Marcus Semien stands in, and off we go in Game 2 with a fastball 100 outside ball 1. The Rangers 3-0 to begin this postseason despite their leadoff man, their all-star leadoff man Marcus Semien, going 1 for 14 after an 0 for 5 yesterday. 1 ball, 1 strike.
We're going to have shadows for most of the first part of the game, so that's going to be an issue for the hitters. It was an issue yesterday. And so the pitches you get that are in the zone, you better hit early on.
On this 1-1 pitch, Semien fouls it off 1-2. The sun and the glare was so bad, there were even some pitchers talking about having a hard time seeing the catcher.
Yeah, there's only one person that feels good about it, and it's the pitcher.
Yeah. That is hooked into left field, and Semien's got his first base hit of this series. It's a leadoff single. Take a look at how the umpires line up for Game 2. John Lipka calls balls and strikes. He is a very tight strike zone guy.
Well, this is the formula for the Texas Rangers. They have been a good breaking ball hitting team. They proved it yesterday. They start off with their first hit on a breaking ball on 2 strikes.
Get ready here. First pitch. Most aggressive guy in baseball. First pitch, and Corey Seager slaps it foul.
And so we talked about it before the game. You know, maybe the strategy for this game. I think for Grayson Rodriguez, he has to trust his fastball, even in counts that scream throwing a breaking ball, and see how the hitters adjust for the Rangers and beat him at the top of the zone.
Well, one of the things that he worked on when he went to the minors, and I know you'll get into what he did mechanically, but it was a mentality thing too, to trust that fastball, trust that, yeah, it's the big leagues, but I can live in the zone with my fastball here too. It has much more since coming back. 2-1 on Seager.
Because that's what the freedom of his arm angle allows. The ball is going to cut sometimes. It's going to run sometimes. It's got a gift of its own. And I think when you have the pitches he does, he's got a great changeup. He's working on his slider and curveball. But he's facing a really, really good off-speed hit. That's the pitch. The changeup off the fastball, and he's going to throw that changeup to right-handers. That should be the majority of the pitches he goes with. Once he establishes fastball and get the hitters to try and get on top of it, they'll swing over the top of it.
Corey Seager does here. Count evens up 2-2. Crowd comes alive, and the pitch comes home. It's a fastball that misses. Now, the last straw for Grayson Rodriguez before they sent him down to AAA came against these Rangers. Rangers scored 9 runs against him on May 26th, and Corey Seager hit a grand slam in that game. On this 3-2, he takes a changeup low, and the first 2 have reached for Texas.
All right, not the start that Baltimore wanted, especially when your offense is struggling, but this is a pitcher that can handle this environment, and he can handle this moment. First and second right out of the gate on a team that's on a roll. You're going to have to be pretty cool and calm to not let that impact you.
It's an odd sense in this ballpark, even leading up to first pitch, where yesterday it was a party. It was raucous, anticipating their first game in the postseason here in almost a decade. Today, a little bit of an uneasy sense. Baltimore fans, and you figure the Orioles down in the field too, hoping something good happens early in this game for them. Two runners aboard for Mitch Garver. First appearance of the postseason. Takes a first pitch curve for a strike.
Good breaking ball. Mitch Garver, good fastball hitter, but up in the zone, susceptible to that pitch. He likes it in the middle to down. And I think for Grayson Rodriguez, deep breath, get ahead, pound that fastball when you get a chance to.
It is a 1. It is a fastball, a little bit low.
The strike zone is going to be an advantageous for the Orioles. What I mean by that is because it's going to be called tight, you want stuff in the zone. They won't allow the sinker or wave that Montgomery will talk about when he pitches. So it should favor Grayson Rodriguez because he'll be in the zone a lot more than Montgomery. It's again power versus finesse. The Texas Rangers have thrown 2 starters, more finesse than the power the Baltimore Orioles are throwing.
Power against finesse, stuff versus location, and Rodriguez feels like he can live in there with his. First and second, nobody out in this first inning. 1-2 pitch is a fastball that Garver somehow gets to and stays alive.
And we're going to have to stay alive because if he stays in the game against these hitters, foul balls are coming right in our booth, and we're going to have to stay alive.
Now, Kevin Brown, who has this booth during the regular season, said that in his time here, and he's been here a while now, he's never gotten one in here.
Wow.
I feel like half the time we get threatened by him. Swing and a miss. The changeup gets Garver.
See that pitch just fall off the table. It's the same arm action as the fastball, but it's almost a screwball type action. See how the ball starts up and then just floats, never gets there. When you're having to get ready for 98 miles an hour, this pitch is such a great weapon in today's game and the style of hitting. We don't see as many fastball dominant changeup pitchers anymore.
First and second for Garcia. Strike 1 on a high fastball. Struck out 4 times yesterday. We asked Bruce Bochy, were any of your hitters complaining about the sun and the glare and the time of day? He said, well, Garcia didn't like it. No, Garcia had 4 Ks. He said you can pretty much look at the box score and see who didn't like it. It'd be Garcia, Grossman. As a team, though, they were able to overcome 16 strikeouts in that game yesterday to win 3-2.
Yeah, and that's what they do. Slug early, get on base. This fastball should be up. If it's don't make it away, make it up after throwing a changeup, or you can back up that changeup. But I would be fastball up after he swung at the first pitch. Recognize where he swung at it, and then you change the speed. You can go right back to that fastball.
Because he's a guy who you know you can get to expand.
Right there, mask high is where you want that to be.
Simeon at second, Seager at first. 0-2 to the plate from Grayson Rodriguez. Back up with a fastball to sit him down.
Perfect spot, perfect pitch, and that's reading the swing and reading the moment. And they did a great job because if it's tight into him, it looks good to a hitter. But if it's away, that's where Garcia can get to the ball. And what a great pitch in the moment. And again, I told you, this guy is as cool as it gets. First and second, nobody out, was not going to bother him.
2 on, 2 out. Evan Carter, strike 1, perfect fastball. Jaw-dropping first month in the major leagues for Evan Carter continued yesterday with a double and 2 walks. This is the anniversary of his debut. The 1-month anniversary of his debut. What a tear he's been on.
Now, the one thing we talked about, he won't chase, which is amazing. You would think he'd be anxious. You would think over the last 2 weeks, this would be the moment that he gets out of himself and chases. It's actually gone lower. And so credit him and his calmness and whatever his DNA is. He's done a nice job not expanding the strike zone.
2-out chance in this first inning. He takes a strike. It's 1-2. And Grayson Rodriguez has a chance here to make a statement early.
Now he can go change up away off of that pitch right there. And that change up away has to be away and down where if he's going to expand, it will be there.
Fastball away.
Well, they went away, but they went with the 99-mile-an-hour fastball trying to catch the top part of the zone. But see how disciplined he is. You have 0.1 second to pull and make a decision on whether it's a strike or not.
Man, even budget. 2 on, 2 out, and a 2-2 pitch. Same spot and same thing from Carter. Stone cold 21-year-old rookie. Jonah Heim waits on deck. Rangers trying to take advantage of this golden first inning opportunity. He's got a full count, which he's reached in his first month in the major leagues at double the rate of the average big leaguer.
That's why I thought they were going to go with changeup after they pounded in that strike, but they went away, and his eyes have been really good, and it kind of reset the focus now and gets him a neutral count.
Runners to get a head start. There they go. Here it comes. Grayson Rodriguez just misses inside, and Carter may be already getting a reputation. If I don't swing it in, a strike. He takes the walk to load the bases. Wow. And has reached base in 11 of his 13 plate appearances this postseason.
Yeah, this one caught the strike zone, and that's a miss right there. That would have been a strike, and he knew it. 100 miles an hour. When you're trying to go away and the catcher pulls the glove over, sometimes, just sometimes, that can have a difference making in the call.
25th pitch of this first inning is popped up by Jonah Heim out of play. Heim had an RBI hit yesterday, also had the huge caught stealing in the 9th inning. One-time Orioles draft pick. Decade ago. Simeon at third. Seager at second. Carter at first. Strike two.
Great pitch. Now Heim has not hit a ball up. 156 on fastballs up. You just threw that changeup. You don't have to mess around here 0-2 with the bases loaded. You don't have to waste a pitch, but if you're going to throw one at the eye level top of the zone, this could be the time with that electric fastball. Huge moment to get out for this fan base and get the offense back on for Baltimore.
Bases loaded first inning. Can Rodriguez escape his 0-2? Fastball lifted to left field. No big deal for Austin Hayes, and the Rangers leave him loaded. Grayson Rodriguez tiptoes his way out, puts up a 0. For the first time in a few weeks, as we take a look at the rest of the lineup, sponsored by IBM. Mountcastle bats second. Anthony Santander was the best offensive player yesterday. Henderson hits cleanup. Austin Hayes in left field. Aaron Hicks bats sixth. Westberg, Mullins, and Jorge Mateo gets his first start of this postseason. Timing is everything, John, and the Rangers timed out their acquisition of Jordan Montgomery pretty darn well, didn't they?
Yeah, we're going to explain how connected he is to everything and how much he pitches to the corners. And Rutschman doesn't swing at the first pitch. I would make him come out of himself and think about swinging at the first pitch. After that momentum swing, see if you can get your offense started with a first pitch swing here against Montgomery.
Orioles looking for something to go right early in this game. Montgomery's first pitch is outside for ball one. 7 scoreless innings in St. Pete in game 1 on Tuesday. You said you got to go way back in your memory to find the last postseason game you saw pitch that cleanly.
Yeah, he didn't make mistakes. He pitches to the corners. It's like he's got a feel for his sinkers, cutter, fastball, and that's where he's going to live. And we talked about the strike zone. Now, it will not benefit him if you can make him get into the strike zone. If you're the Orioles, even though they have been struggling, you've got a better chance for success.
2-0 to the former first overall pick Adley Rutschman is in for a strike. Rutschman yesterday 0 for 3. And the concern for these Orioles, not just yesterday, but the fact that this slump has gone on for a few weeks. That was the 11th time in their last 20 games that they scored 2 or fewer. On a 2-1 pitch, Rutschman takes ball 3.
So what Montgomery's going to try to do is get this aggressive, maybe see if the Orioles will get aggressive because they haven't been swinging the bats. He wants you looking away. He'll pound you in when he has to, fade that changeup, throw a good curveball.
Here it comes in the 3-1 that Rutschman gets under and pops to the right side of the infield for Nathaniel Lowe.
So here's what Montgomery's going to do. Think of a field goal post, and then he wants to stay out of kicking the field goal. See those red lines? He wants to be outside those red lines. If that was a field goal, wide left, and then he'll want to get it below the red line in the zone where it looks like a strike, and he gets these swings and misses. He will pitch to both sides of those red lines and below. He does not have to pitch up. He will rarely pitch up, so he wants your eyes leaning out over the plate if you're right-handed hitters.
1 away for Ryan Mountcastle. Now you may look at that, John, and say, well, wait a minute, you don't want to throw strikes, but the point is he is right on those goalposts.
Right. He has the perception of the ball starting in the strike zone and leaking out. That's where he's going to be successful, and he's going to bet that you will expand the strike zone before he'll have to come into the strike zone.
And you touched on it a little bit. A lot of times that's going to be human nature for a slumping offense. Try to swing your way out of it.
Yeah, it is the most difficult thing for a hitter to know when you get a scouting report that says get him in the strike zone. Well, easier said than done, right? You're not connected your mechanics. The pitcher on the mound's in a good groove. And you just have to have, I've seen it so many times and obviously been to the postseason 14 years in a row. It can turn quickly. When you're in a funk, you just need somebody to get a big hit at the right time, and then the next thing you know, everyone has energy.
On a 2-1 pitch, Ryan Mountcastle takes a change that fades over that outside corner. Change-ups, that was the magic one yesterday. Was that the most fluky thing you've ever seen, or what? Where Baltimore had 5 hits, they all came against change-ups.
It was fluky, and I thought it never happened before, but we found out that it happened at least one other time.
A decade ago. Last time a team had at least 5 hits, and they all came against change-ups. 2-2. Fouled off, barely stays alive.
Well, Montgomery doesn't have to follow too much information. He just has to pitch off of where his last pitch was, meaning he uses the height of his pitches to determine what pitch he throws next.
See what he goes with on 2-2 to Mountcastle. It is a fastball inside.
And that's why his curveball's more effective than you would think, because they're all looking at that sinker, right? And they're being able to read the pitch. And now here on a 3-2 pitch, it wouldn't surprise me if he goes back away. Well, they're going to try to lock him up inside.
3-2. Baltimore chop. Right side low. Race to the bag. Not in time. Ryan Mountcastle throwing it back to old scientific baseball in the 1890s here in Baltimore.
Well, I said you never know what is going to make a turn right there. This little thing right here. Remember this. It's not a bullet in the scorebook, but it's a base hit. And see if that gets momentum for a team that has been struggling to score runs. And we'll just see how that transpires, that one little high chopping base hit.
Those early days, Orioles had a legendary groundskeeper named Tom Murphy, who used to make the dirt in front of home plate extra hard for their speedy runners to just pound it into that dirt. Get hops like that, turn it into base hits. Strike one on Anthony Santander, who had a great postseason debut yesterday, 2 for 3 with a home run. After a 28 during the regular season. And he's homered against Montgomery before. Oh, 2.
So almost 90% of his breaking pitches are out of the zone. And that's the highest in baseball. But he gets a lot of swings at those pitches.
Goes to one here, and it's popped up. And to shallow left field for Corey Seager. So if you know that, if you know 9 out of 10 are going to miss, can't the plan be if you see spin, you just don't swing?
Well, easier said than done, because he throws enough strikes that gets you right there thinking that is going to be a strike out of his hand. And that ball ends up as just below the line. And that's the art of pitching that Montgomery is getting really in a nice stretch. The last 10 innings, no earned runs. He just does enough of that to frustrate the hitters. And he doesn't stay in one area. He doesn't pound you with 4 pitches in a row or 4 of the same pitches.
2 out. Gunnar Henderson takes in the dirt. Yeah, that's the thing with Montgomery, is that especially as he added in the 4-seam the way he did against Tampa on Tuesday, he's just so unpredictable at this point.
He is, and he'll throw a higher percentage of fastballs to left-handers, believe it or not. So he'll pound them in.
Breaking pitch, 1-1. Gunnar Henderson 1 for 4 in his postseason debut yesterday. On this 1-1 pitch, Henderson has a base hit into center field, reaching out and getting to that curveball. So after an 0-for-3 start to the series, 2 for his last 2. Now all the talk after yesterday's game was his caught stealing. In the 9th inning, after his leadoff single, representing the tying run, caught trying to steal second, and then we saw Brandon Hyde say, "What in the world?" as if Henderson wasn't supposed to steal. Now it came out after the game that, in fact, there was a hit and run that had been called. Aaron Hicks missed the hit and run sign, and Henderson was left out to dry. So an Orioles team that's been so good at executing the little things, at being aggressive on the bases, had those things backfire yesterday. A ball on Austin Hayes with Hicks on deck. First inning chances for both sides. 2 on, 2 out here. And the All-Star Hayes lifts it foul. You know, they have not been a team at any point this season that is going to bludgeon you. It's not a big home run hitting team, but they've hit with runners on base all year. They've been an efficient base running team. Just did not have those things go their way yesterday.
This guy's such a good fastball hitter. Maybe the curveball is one of the weaknesses with 2 strikes.
Got a curveball right there.
Yeah, and that's such a good curveball, right? He's thrown that fastball, fouls it off, follows it up with a curveball. Tremendous break. One of the few that would have been called maybe a strike. Bottom right corner.
Hayes is one of those guys you're talking about in the middle of this slump. The wrong time for the Orioles at 3 for his last 29.
Well, Texas had a chance in the first inning. First and second, nobody out, didn't score. 2 outs has been a really good thing for the Orioles. Maybe they can get one to fall in.
1-2 from Jordan Montgomery is another curve. This one he lays off.
And that's all it takes sometimes. I mean, yesterday had to be like gnawing at a bone because you were just so close to getting the game where you wanted to. And a really good take right here. But these are the moments in the postseason. You can't do it all the time, but every once in a while, a 2-out RBI, this place would go crazy.
Deuce is wild here. Hayes looking for that 2-out knock. Oh, that is a heck of a take, man. Wow. 3-2 on Hayes.
Well, they're all watching video. They know what he does, and they try to train their eyes to say, if it's over there, it ain't coming back.
Runners take off, payoff, breaking ball, spoiled.
When you can throw any one of your 4 pitches on a 3-2 count, you know you're in mechanical control. You know that you feel like you can make any pitch you need to. And that 3-2 pitch right there was, in his mind, that was the one to get him out. You foul it off. And after slowing him down, I don't know if he'll try to sneak one inside and lock him up with the 3-2 pitch.
2 on 2 out, first inning. Another 3-2 pitch from Jordan Montgomery. Austin Hayes watches ball 4 to load the bases.
Well, both teams now bases loaded and 2 outs. A little bit of pressure on a team that hasn't had much in their starting rotation to deal with, because we showed you the numbers, but the man that has a chance to redeem himself is at the plate right now.
Yeah, baseball being the wonderful writer that it is. As this script here with a guy looking for redemption. Aaron Hicks, not a guy who expects something like that from. We were talking about him yesterday as the lone guy in this lineup that has any kind of postseason experience. It was his 30th postseason game yesterday. At the plate representing the winning run when he misses the hit and run sign. Strikes out soon after that. But in the first inning of the first game after, he's got a bases loaded chance.
Well, this is a good at bat for the Orioles because he doesn't chase down and away very well. If that first pitch is middle to middle in, he's going to let it fly. Otherwise, he's going to take. At least those are the tendencies that he's shown when he gets up there.
Rangers couldn't take advantage of their bases loaded situation in the first inning. Can the Orioles? A ball on Hicks. Pitch. Aaron Hicks fouls it off.
That was the one right there. That was one of the few ones that the fastball got up that they could have done something with. Remember, the changeup is a swing and miss pitch for Montgomery. The curveball, a swing and miss pitch. May not have eye-popping numbers, but there's the one that the Oriole hitters are hoping to get more often today.
1-1 pitch. Outside for ball 2. Hicks, a patient hitter. Nowhere to put him here. Orioles looking for their first lead of this postseason. Two balls and a strike. Here comes Montgomery. Hicks fouls it off. And another fastball to swing at there. 2-2.
Almost 3/4 of his strikeouts that are called looking against right-handed pitchers are fastballs in. Because he pitches away, he has the hitter looking away, and it's almost a shock when he comes in and they give up on the pitch and he catches the inside part of the plate.
That's where the target's set here for a 2-2 pitch. Pokes a base into right field. One run is in. Here comes Henderson. Throw to the plate. Missed the tag. Aaron Hicks, instant redemption. 2-0 Baltimore.
Remember, the inning started with a high chopper. 2 outs, a breaking ball, a really good pitch, but you saw him reach out and get the bat to the ball, poke it the other way. Aggressive base running, good throw, and just barely missed the tag. What a slide.
And how about Hicks and Henderson hooking up in the first inning of game 2. Now Jordan Westburg, first and third, 2 away. Ball 1. Jordan Montgomery had given up 2 runs over his last 34 innings. 2 runs here in the first.
And part of that is first pitch strikes have not gone the way Montgomery normally pitches. 1 of 7 so far.
32nd pitch of this first inning is bounced left side for Young. We'll go to second. and end the first. Orioles do what they couldn't do yesterday and what the Rangers couldn't do in the top of the first. Take advantage of an opportunity. Aaron Hicks, the GOAT yesterday, gets him going today. You know, for the better part of his last couple of years, Aaron Hicks heard boos every time he came up in New York. He said one of the things he's loved here in Baltimore is the way the fans have received him. And they're receiving him again after his two-run single has the Orioles in front in Game 2 of this division series. Grayson Rodriguez is able to get out of a bases-loaded situation in the first inning. Bottom part of the order, Nathaniel Lowe hacks this one foul.
You know, sometimes this is going to sound crazy, but sometimes when you get out of a jam in the first inning, when you've lost your first postseason game, the Orioles, it feels like you scored runs.
Wow.
And the bottom half, the team has energy, and they were able to score those runs, and so it feels doubly great, right? The team doesn't blow out many teams, so they're used to close games. That bottom of the first says all you need to know about the Baltimore Orioles and their season.
Been coming back all year, been coming back in the standings, have been coming back within games, coming back within series. I mean, look at what happened against Tampa Bay in mid-September here. They lost the first two games of the series to the Rays, fell back into a first-place tie. First time they hadn't been alone in first in almost 2 months. How do they respond to that? They win the next two games, including one where they came back 3 times within 1 game.
Yeah.
Ball in on a Sunday afternoon. Count is full on Lowe. Brandon Hyde, the manager, who's gotten to see through this whole thing, not just there to endure the losing seasons, of which there were plenty, but he's taken him on the best 2-year turnaround in baseball history. It's a leadoff walk for Nathaniel Lowe, the third one issued by Grayson Rodriguez already. Let's take a look at today's same game parlays, sponsored by FanDuel. Couple of the youngsters in the middle of it. Josh Young and Adley Rutschman. And Josh Young yesterday had the home run that was the difference on the scoreboard, but really the bigger play might have been the defensive play that he made to start that 8th inning double play.
There's no doubt about that. And again, in the moment, people won't understand how huge that play was. He didn't just think about getting one. He was thinking about getting two. And he did.
You were talking yesterday, John, about how hard he works on his swing, sometimes too much. And Bruce Bochy said he works just that hard defensively as well.
Yeah. And he got the blessing of his manager in spring training. Says you're going to be in there every day. You are, if you handle the defensive part. Just make those plays. I got a lot of pitchers that we've invested money in, and you need to make those plays, and he has.
25-year-old rookie smacks a base hit into right field past the diving Westburg. First to third goes low, and they're at the corners with nobody out. So once again threatening. 5 base runners over the first inning plus.
Well, early on, Grayson is not making it too easy on himself. Getting that walk led to this. That pitch, you got to go with it. It was up, and he went the other way, and he just got rewarded for the hit. Didn't crush it, but now Grayson's got to try to get out of this inning with just 1 run. Don't try to get out of the inning. When you try to get out of a first and third, nobody out with no runs, it turns into 3 runs or more. And that's the hardest lesson the young pitcher learns as he navigates through a season.
The 9-hitter Leody Taveras, who quietly has had a good postseason, takes ball 1 and a visit here from Rutschman.
Yeah, one of the things on Grayson Rodriguez's notes here is first pitch, they've had a lot of success against him, and they've had a lot of slug against him. But what he's done the last 4 starts is keep the ball in the yard. Early in his career this year, he was giving up a lot of home runs. It's not been the case in the second half.
Totally different guy, really, second half, since coming back from those 2 months in AAA. A lot of people thought that he would debut last season. This is a top pitching prospect the Orioles have had in decades, and he was on the verge of getting to the big leagues last year at the age of 22, but missed a lot of the year with a strained lat. And started this season in AAA, came up about a week in, had a .735 over his first 10 starts. And went down to AAA, had the mechanical reset, had the mentality shift, and has been one of the best in baseball since returning in mid-July. His 1-0 to Taveras. Swung out and missed.
I know it seems easy, but that's really the only place he needs to go, right? Easier said than done. He'll learn with his arm angle and the way that he throws that will be the comfort zone, and he'll hit that 75% of the time as he goes on in his career.
And then a fastball to the bottom of the zone.
I mean, because his fastball's so electric, he doesn't have to be as perfect. He doesn't have to have one side where he dominates. Now, if he does, he's Jacob deGrom, and we already saw what he could do.
It's kind of fastball, John, that does a bunch of different things depending on which way he throws it.
It does, and that's a gift. And it never looks like he's throwing hard. And that's the other gift, because hitters don't like that. They don't like the late pop of a fastball getting on them.
Strides home with a 1-2. A fastball is lifted to left center field. Hayes is sprinting back into the gap. A diving attempt from Mullins, but he can't get it. Lozen to score. Young trying to score from first. Relay from Mateo's not in time. Out of the 9th spot in the order, Leody Taveras has tied this game with a 2-run double.
And you're going to see on this pitch, he missed location. I just got done talking about throwing the ball up. See, he wanted the ball up, and it would have been unhittable. But down, the hitter had a chance. And he just drops the barrel of the bat to it on a 98-mile-an-hour fastball and gets rewarded by splitting the gap. That ball's up. He cannot do that. And even though it was a fastball with a lot of velocity, the ball down doesn't react the same as the ball up in the zone because of how he throws it.
Rangers break through. They had all that traffic in the first inning, couldn't score, but bottom of the order gets it done here in the second. Marcus Semien with a Baltimore chop of his own. Rodriguez whips it to first in time. What a play by Mountcastle.
Oh my goodness. I mean, that could have been catastrophic. That was a pitcher trying to throw it as quick as he could, and I mean, did the ball find the glove? I mean, that is unbelievable pick. The second one of these we've seen in the game, and right here he's just trying to release it as quick as he can. Man,
wow. Rangers are going to challenge. We get our first look at a replay.
Ooh, he may have slipped his foot off the bag.
but it may have happened after he caught it. Let's see.
Yeah, I think that foot's off the bag when he caught it.
Got it now. I don't know, man. I don't know if there's enough there to overturn it.
The angle from catching point of view to first base is a better angle. Either way, this ball could have been down into right field.
This replay review is presented by Zoom back in New York. Taking a look.
After review, the call stands. The runner is out. Texas has one challenge remaining.
Can hear either confirmed or stands. Stands means they don't have enough to overturn it.
Yeah, if it would have been the other way, he would have been safe. I think you could safely say that. But the angle has been hidden with his other foot. Either way, it's an unbelievable play.
One to mark on the scorecard, given the situation here. Runner at third in a tie game. Corey Seager walked his first time. Takes upstairs for ball one.
Yeah, this is the wrong guy to have if you're Grayson Rodriguez at the plate with an infield in and the ability that he has. Seager.
Seager with that walk his first time has been on base 10 of his 16 times up this postseason. Fouls off this fastball. This is kind of what you've come to expect from Corey Seager this time of year. World Series MVP with the Dodgers in 2020. And the Rangers salivating, thinking about him doing those kinds of things for them. On this 1-1, he takes outside, ball two.
Well, he's so strong. He doesn't have a stride. He just basically gets a quick toe tap, and he's in so much balance that he can trust his hands, being as big as he is, and there's no wasted movement. And he generates so much from that quick little toe tap.
Ball three. It's kind of a hitting baseball robot. Yeah, you're not going to see Corey Seager on any ads or in any social media. Probably going to find him down in the cage. Spends as much time there as anybody. Got a man at third with one away. Is a 3-1 pitch. Pops it up. Foul ground at third. Henderson doesn't have room, and the count is full. 7 seasons with the Dodgers. Went to the postseason all 7 of those years and signed the record contract with the Rangers.
I think that contract surprised a lot of people. It's not surprising people now.
The payoff to Seager. Target set up. That's where he goes, but Seager takes it and has his second walk. For more on Seager, here's Kenny.
Well, guys, Marcus Semien had an interesting observation on Seager before Game 1. He said, I'm seeing playoff Corey Seager versus regular season, and regular season Corey Seager was an MVP candidate. When he was asked what that meant, Semien said, it just looks like Seager has an extra bounce in his step. That last week offensively of the regular season, he wasn't that good. Playoff start, here we go.
First and third for Garver. Change up, strike one.
One thing you got to be careful with this mini shift. There's no shift, of course, but the second baseman's playing up the middle, and they've got him to pull.
Back-to-back change-ups.
As you don't want to be that fastball away where he can reach out the bat and just get that same kind of hit. So back-to-back change-ups have gotten him off balance and out front.
Three consecutive change-ups. This one's put in play and it scores a run, and it's an infield hit with that lollipop of a throw over there to first. 3-2. Texas is in front.
Well, they did go with 3 in a row after making him look sick for 2. He is able to get the bat on the ball on a tough play for Grayson here. This one's right at the squirt off the bat, right? And then he gets it, and he's almost stuck because now he has to throw the ball over the runner, and not in time. And man, these Rangers, they are relentless.
That's one of the things we were talking about yesterday, John, is that they hit as many home runs as anybody, but they also really make you work. When they're right, they grind you. They have starting pitchers out of the game early. Strike on Adolis Garcia.
Well, their approach is unique. Like everybody else has that information. They got the machines to hit off of breaking balls. They've got everything at their disposal, but they have to execute. And that's what they've done. They execute.
Already 52 pitches for Rodriguez. Is 1-1. Is hit hard into center field. Base hit Garcia. Seager makes the turn, comes in to score. A 4 spot for Texas.
Well, we said they mastered the 3-ball counts, and they actually have the crooked number 3 or more runs in an inning, and that's exactly what they did here. They didn't flinch. Another ball down that the hitter could get to. Talked about his fastball down doesn't play the same as his fastball up, and they've taken advantage of it a couple times now, and 4-2 just like that. They've taken the crowd out again.
Strike 1 on Evan Carter. They've already got 5 hits and 4 walks against Grayson Rodriguez, who is going to be sick seeing this jersey. Probably already is. It's the team that sent him to the minors back in May with 9 runs against him. Carter offered, and it's 0-2.
And he's gotten to 2 strikes. This is now the 5th hitter in this inning. He's gotten to 2 strikes. Where they've beaten him has been down, even with the changeup that was in the lower part of the zone. Elevate the fastball, change their eye level a little bit.
Poke left side. Mateo's got it. Goes to second 1. That's all they'll get. Garber to third, first and third. And Jonah Heim comes up as the 9th man to bat in this inning.
115 times now that 3+ runs have been scored in an inning, and that's only second to Atlanta.
Got shut out at home for the first time all year last night. Danny Coulomb warms up. 4 in the bank, first and third for Heim, who swings and misses at a fastball.
Well, the hitters in this whole inning has had the blessing of the clouds and no shadow. I mean, they were stressing over it with the time of the game that yesterday was, and then today was going to be shadows, but the clouds have taken care of that.
Good baseball weather, good postseason weather. Low 60s. Heim, who flied out his first time, swings through this fastball, and it's 0-2.
We haven't seen one Texas hitter hit a ball in that area. Not one.
Yeah.
Every hit has been down, and they've taken advantage of the breaking ball. And let's see if he can get that 3rd one. With 2 strikes has not been a problem. It's been that 3rd strike in this inning.
Back to the high fastball, and Heim swats it to the left side. Base hit. 5 runs for the Rangers in the second, and they lead it 5-2.
I wonder if he had an earpiece in. I mean, they sent the runner there on a 2-strike count, and he just vacated the shortstop spot. This was excellent hitting and exactly where they wanted the ball. But by starting the runner, the shortstop was gone.
And so is Grayson Rodriguez.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Got out of the bases loaded jam in the first. The Rangers relentless. Chase him in the second inning. right after the Orioles captured some momentum, taking the lead with 2 runs in the first inning, the Rangers have taken it right back. 5 runs in the second to chase Grayson Rodriguez. And already into the Orioles bullpen, Danny Coulombe is going to come in here in the second inning.
Well, the bullpen did an incredible job for the Orioles yesterday. One mistake by Webb, but other than that, they shut down the Texas offense.
Both bullpens yesterday got active pretty early. Both used 5 pitchers. They both gave up just 1 run. Nathaniel Lowe started this inning with a walk, takes ball 1 from Coulombe. Quietly, Lowe has gotten things going a little bit. After hit just 160 in September, he's had a hit in the first 3 games, each of the first 3 games of the postseason, and that walked open this inning. Their 3-hitter for a lot of the year, and for good reason. This guy won a Silver Slugger last year.
You don't see this very often, and we've seen this now in less than 24 hours, and that's more than 9 hitters coming to the plate. The Diamondbacks did it to the Dodgers last night, and now the Rangers are doing it to the Orioles.
On the corner, 1 and 2. How about that game?
It's crazy. Again, it's crazy how things switch and turn. The ball didn't get played in center field. The next thing you know, it's 6-0.
The D-backs with an 11-2 win in game 1. Zach Gallen tonight, or tomorrow, it's Bobby Miller for the Dodgers. Danny Coulombe faced a couple hitters in game 1 yesterday. Continued his fantastic season. Career year for the 33-year-old. Home of the 1-2 in the dirt and stopped by Rutschman.
Well, yesterday's game was always within reach, and it felt like the Baltimore Orioles were going to get that hit. This is a dangerous situation where it starts to feel like it gets out of reach because the team has not been scoring a lot of runs. They get them out here, they know they've got 8 more innings to score at least 3.
Coulombe does, striking out low. Texas-sized inning for the Rangers. They get 5. 13 runs in 5 innings allowed by Grayson Rodriguez to these Rangers. He debuted against Texas and pitched pretty well, but that last start in his first section in the major leagues this year, and then his first postseason start, disastrous. 5-2 game. Long way to go, though. Cedric Mullins takes strike 1 from Jordan Montgomery.
Well, I've always said as a pitcher, when you wait 25 minutes or so, that means there's at least 3 runs on the board. I mean, they got 5, so see how Montgomery deals with that rest after being rewarded.
It's hit hard but foul. And we were then talking, John, this Orioles offense has been struggling for a long time, but it's hard not to at least think a little bit about the week off when you see what happened to the Dodgers, you see what happened to the Braves, and see that those 3 100-win teams combined for 4 runs in their first game after the week off.
Yeah, and you know it's going to be a conversation. You try to prepare for it. It's a mental gymnastics you have to play because it's something new. And when something new happens, you try to adjust. And it'll take time. I honestly believe it'll take a few years for teams to try and figure out. Now, the one team that hasn't had, or at least to this point hasn't had issues, been Houston. They were able to win it last year. But you're talking about 3 great years starting off with some clunkers, and really unusually, especially when the Braves and their offense got shut out.
I know we say like it's going to take time to realize what you got to do, but I don't know that if anybody's going to be able to come up with like a tried and true method to, because I mean they made it as game-like as they could. All these teams did, right? They scrimmaged, they brought in fans.
And I think what happens for each team is some things a little different. Of course, the Braves have had some injuries to the rotation, which didn't set up well for them to make this run, which they still can. It's only 1 game. But when the narrative is about the best teams all coming out and looking flat's not a good word, but that's what it ends up being when you lose the games they lost the way they did.
1-2 to Mullins, fouled off. And you hate to make too much out of 1 game, but in a 5-game series, that's life.
5-game series for sure. And then you add in the oddity of the teams that lost those games, the Dodgers and the Braves. They go, well, we'll go get them tomorrow. No, you won't, because there's another day off in this series.
Weird. Another 1-2. And a strikeout of Cedric Mullins. Kenny, what do you think?
Well, guys, remember the Dodgers and Braves were eliminated the same way last year. And if these 3 teams are eliminated, this discussion is only going to grow louder. But, Joe, I'm with you. I don't know after 2 years if you can make a judgment on this. That's a rather small sample size. But at the same time, the question's going to become, are the wild card teams getting penalized enough? That's the eternal question in this format.
Jorge Mateo getting the start today at short, out of the 9 spot, takes a ball.
Well, for whatever it's worth, my opinion of what they can do is they can make them play games closer to the series they've got to play. In other words, if it goes 3 games, that means you're playing on Friday and you got to get up like you do in the regular season and go face that team that's waiting for you. When you win in 2 games and you have 2 days off, then there is no real penalty that a team has to face, and that's really what's happened. All 4 series were sweeps, and so they get to set up everything they want to as if it were no big thing.
And part of the flaw on display here, a wild card team shouldn't be able to have Jordan Montgomery on the mound for game 2.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If you play, if you back it up after the season 2 days, give every team 2 days off, and you play Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, well, then your incentive is you better win in 2 days. And even if you win in 2 days, then your point is well taken. They can't get to that spot right away.
1-2 to Jorge Mateos in the dirt. The count evens up.
But what I like about it, and what I've always liked about it, is it should help the best team. Because rest should be a good thing at this time of the year. The problem is no one knows how to deal with that rest.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
And so that's what will be figured out, because if you win 100 games, more times out of not in the next 10 years.
Mateo bangs this ball in the air to center field, takes off on Taveras, who got a bad read, and the speed demon Mateos into second with a double.
Well, that ball was centered up to the point where the center fielder on the ball straight at him will be the harder read than if it's to the right or left of him. When it's straight on, you don't pick up the ball and its depth as well as you do when it's right or left. And this ball was absolutely crushed. But from a center fielder's view, it's hard. See that first move he made? And then it's like, uh-oh, that ball's way over my head.
So Mateo, in his first at-bat of the postseason, has a double. Back to the top of the order, Adley Rutschman. The hit and run yesterday that Brandon Hyde put on in the 9th inning was an example of him trying to get this offense going, just because it's been so long since they've hit. Him plugging Jorge Mateo into the lineup, hoping to utilize his speed, was another example. And yet a third is him putting Adley Rutschman into the leadoff spot. I want him up there as many times as I can get him.
Yeah, and that hit and run, by the way, we thought maybe when we were watching it live that it was a steal. And that hit and run was a perfect count, perfect situation. And when you miss a sign, that's why it didn't get executed. And, you know, it played out the way it did. Hicks came back up today and drove in 2 runs.
5-2 game, bottom 2. Man, a lot has happened in 2 innings in this game. That is ball 1 on Rutschman. He's looking for his first hit of this series at 0 for 4. Backhand by Young. Mateo, well, almost was right there for him to tag him, but he blazed by him, and Young went across the diamond for the second out.
Can I just say what I love about the playoffs, and even though this statement, the playoffs are not fair, but that's the beauty of it, right? So many things can happen. Out-of-body experiences, things that would never happen in the regular season. Guys can have a moment, good or bad, and it's just so different that you have to have the timing of your players in position of it's so magnified, over magnified. We're making a huge deal about 1 game.
Yeah.
We wouldn't do that in the regular season, but that's what the playoffs is about.
Big stop there by Heim.
And that's why guys like Bruce Bochy, when we talk about managers, right? He's been there, done that. He's won his last 12 series when they've won game 1. He's won his last 12 out of 13, and here you got Brandon Hyde trying to get to a position finally after all those years, learning on the job, doing all the right things.
Here's the 1-0 to Mountcastle. It's fouled back. And you ask the Rangers players, what does Bruce Bochy mean to you? And they talk about the calm that he exudes. Jonah Heim said, you look at the end of the dugout and you see the steady nature that he's always got. You see that there's never any panic, and it puts you at ease.
No doubt.
What a great thing to be able to have in the postseason. Runner at third, 2 out. Mountcastle on this 1-1, fouls it down the line, and it's 1-2. Bullpen's already gotten to work. And Baker gets ready for this for the third. O's trying to take advantage of the Mateo double. He's at third with 2 out. Montgomery's 1-2 pitch in the dirt, kicks away from Heim, and if anybody can make a mad dash on a ball that only got that far away, it's that guy.
Well, I tell you what, getting to see Heim, you know, play now in the postseason, didn't get a chance to see him much in the regular season. This is a big catcher with a lot of skill, blocking the ball, throwing runners out.
The one thing the Orioles have done is driven that pitch count up for Montgomery. 51 pitches in, and you got to feel like if you're the Orioles, if you can get to that bullpen early again at some point, given the track record in the regular season, it's going to crack.
Yeah, well, this game already showing what a grind the rest of it's going to be for each club.
Another 2-2, and Mountcastle stays alive. It's been an agonizing 6 years for both these fan bases, watching their teams lose 100 games and 100 games and 100 games. But this got to feel pretty agonizing too, with the stress of these 2 games. Tight and tense. Mountcastle's fouled off a few, and he's worked it full.
Well, you know what's weird about it? Both clubs kind of ended the season in the same way with some doubt. Like, where did our offense go? I mean, the Rangers were in so much control, right? Then their offense disappeared, and they had to go to, we already talked about going to Tampa. There was so much concern for this offense with the week off that it's bled into this series a little bit.
On the 8th pitch, Mountcastle grounds one to short for Corey Seager. That's the inning. Orioles unable to take advantage of the double. It's 5-2. Well, the postseason continues with Game 2 of the other ALDS. Twins and the Astros right here on FS1. Pablo Lopez against Framber Valdez in Game 2 of that series. And then a doubleheader in Game 2 of the National League Division Series tomorrow over on TBS. Brian Baker comes into the game for the Orioles. They trail 5-2. Josh Young leads off the third and takes ball one from Baker. Already the third Orioles pitcher. It is going to be a long relay race today after Grayson Rodriguez failed to get out of the second.
Well, you're shocked a little bit, right, when you think about what happened and how it happened. But the Texas Rangers can do that to just about anybody. And they did it to one of the future best pitchers the Orioles are going to have. He's a frontline pitcher. And I'm telling you, next year, you watch, he's going to dominate. And he's come a long way. And this game will be a learning lesson, even though it's as painful as it is and not fun.
Fly ball to right center field where Cedric Mullins drifts under it, and Young's the first out of the third. Well, after the Rangers loaded the bases and couldn't score in the first inning, they plated 5 runs in the second. This guy right here, Leody Taveras, had a 2-run double to tie the score. You said it. If you're the other pitcher, if you're the pitcher whose team's scoring all those runs, you're happy to sit there 21 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, you're guaranteed to get at least 3 when 9 come to the plate.
It's a ball on Taveras, the one-time top prospect for the Rangers, who finally kind of found his footing this year. It was looking like he was getting to the end of the runway. 4th year with time in the majors, really the first time that he's stuck as an everyday guy.
Well, Baker's going to have a 3-pitch mix: fastball, slider, changeup, and that slider's been hard to hit for the opponents. 146 advantage or at average, and fastball touches 96.
Just high. Here's 2-1 outside, ball 3. 25-year-old from the Dominican Republic, made it to the major leagues when he was 21. Taveras takes ball 4. So he's 2 for 4 with a pair of walks in this series.
Already 4 walks for the Rangers. We talked about how many times they do that. It's unbelievable. Is that 5 walks?
5, yeah, 4
5
from Rodriguez.
Well,
wear what the players are wearing on field during the postseason. Check out the latest and largest selection of authentic jerseys, caps, t-shirts, and more. Root your favorite team on at MLBshop.com. Back to the top, and Marcus Semien got his first hit of this series in the first inning. Takes strike 1 here. This is a modern-day Iron Man right here. Hasn't been on the injured list in 6 years, and over the last 3 years, he's only missed 1 game. What a great example to have with all the young guys they have on this roster, to see the way he goes about his business. They say that the reliability that he brings comes from his routine. Josh Young talks about taking notes, watching Marcus Semien go about his day-to-day work.
Pretty good list. Well, it definitely is a mindset, and then the routine is a huge part of it. But if you don't have the right mindset, and you could buy into all kinds of things like, oh, I need rest and need this and need that.
Oh. 11th season in a career that's really had 2 distinct parts to it for Marcus Semien. First 6 years, he was a below-average hitter. He was not good defensively. Last 5 years, though, as he's led the big leagues in games played, he's hit 30 home runs a season, and he might win his 2nd Gold Glove this year. And all that work with Ron Washington. So many guys have helped. It's helped so many guys turn around their careers defensively. On this 3-1 pitch, Semien takes another walk. 6 of them issued by the Orioles through 2 1/3.
Not a good formula, obviously, against this team and against. Whenever you have your first 2 hitters hitting 3 times in 3 innings, it's never good.
And with this visit, we get a quick word from Evan Williams Bourbon.
Reach for a fan favorite, Evan Williams 1783 Small Batch. When bourbon's done right, people notice.
Rangers, after watching the division slip away, have started their first postseason trip since 2016, 3-0, and a 3-run lead here in Game 2 of the division series. Already going to have a raucous environment waiting for them back at Globe Life, which hosted the 2020 postseason that Corey Seager dominated in, but has never hosted Rangers playoff games. Now, there's some environments during the regular season there where we're like, wow. A lot of them against Houston. Played some great games. Could that be the American League Championship Series matchup? 2-0.
Almost wonder if he's got to throw a 2-0 slider right here. A fastball could be a lot of noise. And he did. Yeah. Good pitch at the right time to a great hitter.
Aggressive hitter, but if you don't give him strikes, he'll take it. He's walked twice today. On this 2-1, he takes ball 3.
Change up there after that slider he swung through, but now he's really in a bind in a 3-1 count.
Three consecutive walks issued by Baker.
You know, it's one thing, you're in your home crowd. This crowd has been waiting a long time for postseason baseball. I think they could almost live with 3 hits, but when they get the 3 walks, that just is hard for them to understand, the fan base that is, and that's going to be it.
So the 4th pitcher already going to come into this game for the Orioles. Brian Baker's postseason debut, one that he'd like to forget. Buckle up, folks. A lot of college, NFL, and MLB playoff action to unpack after this huge weekend. Colin can't wait to break it down and tell you which top teams might need to hit the panic button, and he's not holding back. The Herd, Monday at noon Eastern on FS1.
Well, there's some panic going on right now, and understandably so, against a great offensive team that can explode this game wide open. You've got 12 walks and 60 plate appearances so far in this series. That's pretty simple math. That's 20% of the walks. That's a high number.
Already 4 pitchers in this game, and the thing is, it's not just say let's try and cover this game. This is still right there. It's a 3-run game. And Jacob Webb, who gave up a home run to Josh Young yesterday, comes in with the bases loaded to face Mitch Garver and gets strike 1. ball, 1 strike. We go down to Ken.
Jacob Webb watched video of his performance yesterday with assistant pitching coach Darren Holmes today, and they discovered that he was tipping his pitches. The Rangers did not swing at a single changeup. Something to watch for here today if he improves.
Webb's been really good for him since they got him from the Angels. Waiver claim in August. Change up there that wasn't close. 2-1. Mitch Garver's first game this postseason. Struck out in the first inning, knocked in a run with a single in the second. Now this 2-1 pitch leaves it upstairs, ball 3.
Well, these are the situations right here where you need an atom ball, and what that means is you don't care where it goes, it's got to hit towards somebody. You got to make them put it in play. A 4th walk would just take a lot of air out of this stadium.
That ball is hit in the air to deep left field. Hayes going back at the wall. It's gone. It's a grand slam. Mitch Garver breaks it open for the Rangers, who have 9 runs over the first 3 innings.
Well, unfortunately, the fan got the atom ball. It was a 3-1 pitch with the bases loaded and not much room, obviously, to wiggle. And good fastball hitting Garver. The new wall couldn't stop this one, and up in the zone and up and away.
Garver, who hit 19 home runs in 87 games during the regular season, and quietly over the last 5 years has the #1 slugging percentage of any catcher in baseball. When he's been healthy, he's done that kind of stuff. Strike on Garcia. But to get thrusted into the 3 spot today after not playing the first 3 games of the postseason. Bruce Bochy catching lightning in a bottle here. Wow. Oh, 2.
That's their identity, and that's why they feel confident as an offensive squad. Now, there are times, as Bruce said, we don't know why it disappears, but the timing right now has been pretty darn good. It's hard to not. I mean, you get that many walks, it's hard to escape that. I mean, that many walks in 9 innings is hard to escape. This is only 3, and we're not done with it.
Pop fly right side of the infield. Jordan Westberg waits for it to come down, makes the catch. The grand slam hitter is with Ken Rosenthal.
Mitch, not easy to hit a ball out to left field in this ballpark. How did you do it?
Got a good pitch to hit, honestly. I mean, I was a little hesitant on the first pitch. I was kind of looking for the slider. Wasn't quite where I wanted it. Worked myself into a count where I could get a fastball. I had a feeling he wasn't going to go off speed in a 3-1 count with bases loaded, so I took my shot.
What has been the key for your offense today?
I would just say controlling the strike zone. I mean, we really didn't chase out of the zone too much, minus that first inning. We're working walks, getting guys on base, using the whole field, and just playing good offense.
Mitch, thanks a lot.
Yep.
Joe, back to you.
Take pitches that are out of the zone, and if you come in the zone, punish them. And the Rangers have done that all year.
He said it all. I mean, they're sticking to that game plan. And again, I go back to some of the great pitches that Grayson Rodriguez threw to get to 2 strikes, and he got to those 2 strikes. But they, to their credit, the Texas Rangers, every time a ball was in the area for them to hit, they hit it, and they broke the game open. I mean, the first inning did not look great, and they get out of it, they don't score, and then they come right back after trailing in the second inning, and now the game is whoa.
9-2. Rangers on the verge of taking a 2-0 series lead back to Texas. 2-2 on Carter, and they've got Nathan Eovaldi lined up for Tuesday. That's the other part of why yesterday hurt as bad as it did for the Orioles, is that when you're looking at the pitching, that was the one that they felt like they could have.
Yeah, on paper. I mean, both on paper. You felt like the power pitching that they had could maybe quiet the bats of the Rangers.
Carter scorches one, but Mateo's got it. 3 consecutive walks to set the table. And then one big swing to clear it. Mitch Garver with a grand slam. It is all Rangers. Welcome back to the 2023 American League Division Series on FS1, presented by Booking.com. 5 in the second, 4 in the third for the Texas Rangers after they won the first game 3-2. Breathing a little easier here in game 2. Still a long way to go, though. Jordan Montgomery to Anthony Santander. Heart of the order coming up for the Orioles. That's ball 1.
Yeah, the Orioles got to start with their character now. They have a lot of character, and they're going to get small victories. And what that means is you've got to, I know it sounds crazy, but you've got to do something in this game to help you in the rest of the series. Get in the pen quicker, see more guys, have better at bats, and get on base, right? Try to score some runs. It's 9-2, and you can real easily fall into that, we haven't been scoring, and you know, everything looks bad. This team will grind out at bats, and it will bode well, even if they don't come back and win this game, for the rest of the series.
Yeah, gather a little momentum going into Texas. 2-1 on Santander. Struck out his first time after homering in the first game yesterday. On this 2-1 from Jordan Montgomery, Santander had one to hit, popped it up behind the plate. Heim has got it. Heim, part of a Rangers offense that has 7 hits and 7 walks through 3 innings. Corey Seager's got 3 of those 7 walks. They're the first team in postseason history to have those numbers.
Well, they stressed out a really good pitcher, meaning they put him in accounts that early on made him throw a lot of pitches, and now they're going through the bullpen the same way. Look, Montgomery had thrown a ton of pitches, but now he has a 7-run lead. He won't alter his game plan too much, but he now has luxury to pitch to contact even more than he normally does.
Gunnar Henderson singled and scored.
Those small battles are not fun, but you'll hear chatter like, make him work, make him throw a ton of pitches, get in the pen, let's see as many guys as possible. You know, you're not just going to pack your bags and go to Texas 2-0 without a fight and without some kind of continuity offensively you're trying to create.
How about from a managing side as you decide who to bring into the game for pitchers? Has it reached the point where Hyde's going to go to the underbelly of the bullpen?
Well, it changes. Yeah, you can't go. I mean, even though you got a day off tomorrow, you can't burn high leverage pitches in a 7-run deficit. Your offense is going to have to change that narrative. It's going to have to get the game closer because every managerial decision is based on that scoreboard.
On a 1-2 pitch, Henderson takes in the dirt. Count evens up.
And that's what I find ironic about analytics. They'll say the scoreboard should never matter. They don't ever factor in the scoreboard. You play baseball according to that scoreboard. You give me a lead as a pitcher, I'm going to pitch differently. You can't always say, all right, pretend it's 1-0 when it's 9-2. You're going to have, and it puts the onus on the offense too to do things differently.
Strike 3 called. Henderson out number 2. Now look at Merrill Kelly yesterday, who had never beaten the Dodgers, but he gets empowered by that 6-run first inning, goes 6 1/3 scoreless innings.
Absolutely. It changes everything. I mean, you got to be a really disciplined club of veterans to be able to handle situations where it just doesn't look good, right? Teams have come back from this, no doubt, but you're talking about a pitcher on the mound that has been on a nice roll. You give him 7 runs to deal with it. It's a nice gift.
Strike 1 on Austin Hayes. Jordan Montgomery, who, I mean, you've liked him for a while. He's pitching in New York and somehow managed to never really find full favor there. Gets traded to St. Louis. Good year last year to finish. Back on another 1-year contract, and he's been at his very best since coming to Texas.
Listen, for Montgomery in an era where it's max effort, velocity, and spin rate, he doesn't show those numbers that are going to come off the page, right? But he knows how to pitch, and when he's connected, there's nobody better at left-handed being able to miss barrels and get soft contact. He has the little things, the late movement, the ability to pitch in both lanes of the strike zone without going in the strike zone. And so far, you know, he's done a nice job.
30 years old, out of Sumter, South Carolina. Former South Carolina Gamecock, home of the 1-2 pitch. Hayes hooks a ball to the left field corner. Long run for Carter, and he can't get there. Extra bases for Hayes, who knows how tough that is to play left field here. Into second with a 2-out double.
That was almost an unbelievable catch. I mean, again, we talked about left field. You got to have kind of center field skills to play left field here because you normally don't go that deep in left field. But that's what you have to do here, and he almost gets this in his glove. Look, last second, reaches up, and that ball is right off the side of the glove. Turns into a double.
And Carter is a center fielder by trade who's moved off center field since coming to the major leagues. Played really well in left. Here's a 2-out chance for Aaron Hicks, who knocked in the 2 Orioles runs in the first inning. Breaks his bat on a flare to second that Simeon grabs, and that's the inning. Game 2 has been all Texas. The Orioles actually got the first 2 runs of the day in the first, but then 5 runs in the second, 4 runs in the third for the Rangers, and they lead 9-2 as Jonah Heim takes ball 1 from Webb. Jonah Heim, we mentioned earlier, was drafted by the Orioles 10 years ago out of high school in Buffalo, New York. Didn't hit at all first couple years in the minor league system. They traded him to Tampa Bay. And he got traded a couple more times. He had 7 years in the minor leagues. He got traded 3 times before he established himself in the major leagues. And when he did establish himself, it was as a defense first, really defense only guy. Hit .214 his first few years. This year, though, has put it all together. He's added the bat to the elite defense.
Yeah, unfortunately, when that timing, everything was going good, he got hurt. And, you know, you're playing through it at this time of the year. No one knows. The team knows. But outside, nobody knows what guys are really battling through. And you put everything you can to try to help your team win, despite not feeling 100% this time of year.
Jonah said adrenaline is a powerful drug.
Yeah.
He's caught 17 consecutive games, and then the injury that you're talking about was a wrist injury early on in the second half. But adrenaline is pushing him. Leading off this 4th against Webb and popping one into left field where Hayes will drift back and catch it for the first out.
Yeah, the people here in this state are hoping so much, and there's still time, I know, but nothing's kind of, the only team that's won here has been Navy. The Ravens lost. Maryland didn't really have, I mean, they were going against a juggernaut in Ohio State. But
yeah,
this crowd wants so bad this Oriole to get rewarded for that great year, right? We talked about all the teams that won 100 games, but the future is so good here. It's so bright for the next 3 years. It's going to be fun to be an Oriole fan.
So many of these guys either rookies or on their rookie contract. And we're talking their key guys, right? I mean,
yeah.
Grayson Rodriguez, a rookie. Kyle Bradish, his 2nd season. Rutschman, of course, his 2nd season. Gunnar Henderson is a rookie. Jordan Westberg, we don't even talk about, but he was their minor league player of the year last year. He's been good as a rookie, and there is more coming. Into center field, Mullins comes on. And for more on these Orioles and their future, here's Kenny.
Well, Joe, speaking of more coming, the game's #1 prospect, Jackson Holliday, is a shortstop who could be ready for the majors next season. So you might ask, well, where's he going to play? Gunnar Henderson has played so well defensively at short that it is unlikely the Orioles would move him off that position. So maybe Holliday goes to 2nd, Westberg goes to 3rd, can do a number of different things. But bottom line going forward is they're going to have to spend money at some point too. They've got all these kids, they're in a great spot, but free agency is going to be the next frontier.
And you can't knock anything Michael Eyes has done to this point. Getting him back here. He was hired after they lost 115 games in 2018. But to Kenny's point, one thing he's not done is handed out any multi-year deals. So you figure that is the next phase to this whole thing. They've built those prospects up to get here, and they're ready to supplement.
Yeah, that could change. You create a culture of winning now. You put the past behind you of what it looked like to get here. And again, it's never a great path. If you think that's how organizations who struggle and lose games build up their roster with draft picks, it's not fun for the fan base to wait 6-7 years. It'll be fun now, though.
Jacob Webb trying to pitch the first clean inning of the game for the Orioles, and he does with a sweeper that moves a mile to get Young. Well, we're just saying we haven't even talked about Jordan Westberg yet. Nice of him to come up to lead off this 4th inning. Certainly overshadowed by Rutschman and Henderson and what they've done so far, but he's 24 years old. He was a first-round pick in 2020, and after coming up in late June, has been a steady player for him. And like a lot of young players, has made an impact. Rips this one foul. Guy they say is all business, and it may not surprise you then that if he didn't become a baseball player, he thinks that he wanted to try to become a Navy SEAL.
He must have a lot of discipline, man.
Right? It takes a certain kind of mindset. He said he loves the mental grind of baseball. That's another job that would have tested that. This one's over the head of Carter. And Westberg's got a double to lead off this 4th. His first postseason hit.
Again, little things. Getting your first postseason hit, starting to feel good, get the crowd going. Any chance that you have to score runs, you score some runs, you get closer. And they haven't had a lot of this. They haven't had a lot of leadoff men on base. And that's been difficult when you don't get a lot of leadoff men on base with the hit, where you got momentum. They've had some leadoff walks yesterday, but getting hits is what it's all about. It makes you start feeling good about yourself.
Mullins comes up. He cracks one in the air, left center field. Taveras on the move. Will get there. And to third goes Westberg. Well, you can customize your feed, get personalized stats and highlights, and enjoy free live streams with the MLB app. Your home for postseason baseball. Download the MLB app today. And the Orioles have had 3 doubles in this game. None of them have come in to score, though. Jorge Mateo had the first of those doubles back in the 2nd. One of the fastest players in baseball. Former top prospect of the New York Yankees at the same time that they had Aaron Judge and Gary Sanchez when he was a big-time prospect. At the same time they had those guys coming up, Jorge Mateo was ranked above them. Traded to Oakland, the Sonny Gray deal, 2017. Got traded again to San Diego, and that's where he made his debut in 2020. A couple seasons there, and claimed by the Orioles off waivers in 2021. Last year was his first full year, and flashed an exciting brand of baseball. Led the AL in stolen bases. Excellent defense. On this 1-1 from Montgomery, Mateo swats one to center field. Taveras watches it drop in. And an RBI hit for Jorge Mateo. He's 2 for 2 out of the 9th spot today.
And that's all you want to do. You want to keep passing it on to the next guy and see how many you can string together and see how quickly you can get in the Rangers bullpen. This is just good hitting. You try to pull that ball, no good. He hits off the end of the bat, goes the other way. I mentioned the Orioles won 76% of their games when they scored first. Well, that's going to be a hard number to live up to based on the deficit they have.
Mateo is going to take second with his first pitch to Rutschman in the dirt. It's an amazing example of something you like to talk about, John, how in the postseason a leadoff walk is a rally.
Yep.
I mean, it's a 6-run game, and a ball in the dirt creates this eruption.
Yeah, it's something special that every fan knows and every player feels. It's just not the same in the regular season to drum up that many moments.
2-0 on Rutschman. And this crowd is now saying, okay, we've got our guy up there. We've got the savior at the plate. They called him the savior on his way up, and he has lived up to it. Debuted in May of last season. They've been top 5 in the major leagues and wins since then. On a 2-0, Rutschman grounds on left side for Seager, who had it pop out of his glove. Rutschman safe.
Well, bad base base running may have caused that for Seager. With a 6-run lead, he shouldn't even have bothered to go to third base. I know that's what you're taught because it was an easy out. You can't go to third base if you're Mateo. And right there, that little bobble caused Seager to not get any out. And a good meeting for Mike Maddox because you lose space and time, and Seager normally doesn't do that. There's no reason to get the out at third when you're up that much. You just get the out at first, and then you got less of a situation, but crazy things happen, and that was one of them.
And again, like you said, it is a bad base running play, but it is the speed of Mateo affecting the game. And boy, the decision to play him today out of the 9th spot, as they did against left-handed pitching for most of the regular season, but did not yesterday against the lefty and Heaney. Decision to try and inject some life into the offense by playing him. He's been the bright spot.
And I'm sure he's thinking, we're down 6. They're not going to throw me out at third. Maybe he wasn't, maybe he was, but it caused enough chaos there for a moment now for Baltimore to get multiple runs in an inning would be huge.
And the bullpen gets going. 78 pitches for Montgomery. Again, this bullpen has been a sore spot for the Rangers this year. They were able to lock it down yesterday, but had to use 5 pieces. So it is not a particularly well-rested bullpen.
Aggressive first pitch, Mountcastle.
One of the best in baseball against lefties. First and third, one out. Pokes it to right. Garcia will make the grab. Here comes Mateo. Garcia's throw up the line. And it's 9-4. Sacrifice fly for Ryan Mountcastle.
The reason that was a good meeting by Mike Maddox because you remind the pitcher that it's no big deal. We traded out for a run anytime there. You just don't want to keep giving up hits, right? So that out, even though the Orioles and the crowd feels good, it's 9-4, 2 outs with a runner on first.
Mateo making his mark today. 2 hits, a run knocked in, and a run scored. Santander golfs a curve. Simeon and Seager. It's Simeon, and that's the inning. Orioles scratch across 2, make it a 9-4 game. The best 5G coverage in the game with T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. But the Cardinals kind of held the proverbial keys at the deadline because they had the starting pitchers, and most teams thought that this guy here, Jack Flaherty, was the better option, not Jordan Montgomery, and we've seen how that's gone. Montgomery goes to the Rangers, gone on a tear. Jack Flaherty struggled with the Orioles and will pitch out of the bullpen here.
Yeah, I thought this was a great move for the Orioles, and it could end up being, of course, very talented pitcher.
9-1-2 for the Rangers. Ball one on Taveras. How about this shift down to the bullpen for a guy who's never done this?
Yeah, that's going to be difficult and different. But honestly, the score, you know, the way it is, he knows he's got to provide innings. So, I mean, it's pressure, but not as if it was tie game or up by one and you're totally in a different atmosphere and out-of-body experience. And he'll hope to provide some innings, and you don't know if the team can crawl back and get closer, and it changes the leverage of pitchers that Brandon Hyde will use.
Well, unfortunately for the Orioles and for their fans, he fits right in with 3 straight balls on a day where they have walked 7, and 5 of those 7 walks have come in to score. There's a strike.
You know what's interesting about Flaherty is it may be the first time he's ever experienced something like this, right? I mean, he's a physical freak and he's had success, I would imagine, most of the places he goes.
It's a leadoff walk for Taveras, who's been on all 3 times. Down to Ken Rosenthal.
Well, guys, the Rangers tied for the American League in home runs during the regular season, but during the playoffs, they've become more line drive oriented, more focused on putting the ball in play. Their offensive coordinator, Donnie Ecker, told me the team put more of an emphasis on getting on top of fastballs. You're seeing a number of examples here, even if it meant more grounders and fewer homers. The idea is to avoid pop-ups and strikeouts.
Well, nice job right there, Kenny, on cue. Marcus Semien getting up on top of one, banging it into center.
Now, they haven't always avoided the strikeouts, but part of that's due to the quality of pitching. But on balance, guys, we've seen their offense really do some things that are very impressive here.
Yeah, it's an impressive team approach, philosophy, whatever you want to call it, and they've executed it. Look, they've got a lot of guys with big swings. That's probably why the breaking ball average is pretty good, because you can have a big swing and hit a breaking ball, like their manager Bruce Bochy said, and you'll run into those home runs, but you'll run into a lot of strikeouts. So if you make your pitches and you execute against the greatest offenses in baseball, you're going to be successful. And so far, the Rangers are the most confident and the one that's rolling offensively.
2 on, nobody out against Flaherty. The hitter is Seager, who has walked all 3 times in this game. Yeah, Bruce Bochy said it was Willie Stargell who first pointed that out to him. Willie said, hey, you're going to learn to like breaking balls, because big guys that swing hard, you got a little more time to get that big swing off and launch those things.
Yeah, it's harder against 98, especially top of the zone.
2-1. Now, the first manager of the Texas Rangers franchise was Ted Williams. And Ted's philosophy as a player was to try and get on top of the ball and hit line drives over the first 6-7 innings of the game. Back end of the game, game on the line, team might need him a little bit more. Then he would try to match the plane of the pitch and hit home runs. So about a half century later, he got his franchise, one that he managed, adopting that approach, trying to get up on top of the ball. First manager was Ted Williams. Current manager is Bruce Bochy, trying to get his 13th postseason series win out of his last 14 series managed. Seager's got his 4th walk in 5 innings. That's absurd.
Well, when you think about some surprising moves, at least for me, the first was signing Jacob deGrom, meaning I just didn't think Texas was in the market to sign Jacob deGrom. Then they lure Bruce Bochy out of retirement, and they brought Bruce Bochy over to kind of manage all-in approach, where they went and signed some big and invested big and traded big. So it's all coming together in a weird way for the Texas Rangers, and not in the prototypical way.
Now, You know, the pitching first 3 games of this postseason are talking about that off of the top today. Just 3 runs allowed over the first 3 games. But the offense coming to life again today. And this guy here in Mitch Garver has the big swing. It was a grand slam in the 3rd, and he's coming back up here with the bases loaded again. Couldn't possibly do it again, could he? He did it without a bat.
107.
Hot! Sarcastic cheer from this crowd. Postseason debut. At least as a Ranger for Garver. Played in the postseason with the Twins before they traded him to Texas for Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. The Twins, a few hours after that, would flip on to the Yankees. It's a guy who hit 31 home runs in 93 games a few years ago. And injuries have bit him in the years since. But like we were talking about, when he's been healthy, he's been as consistently powerful as anybody in the AL. A little bit of momentum maybe gathered by the Orioles in the bottom of the 4th, scoring 2 runs. Texas trying to take it right back. 2-2 on Garver.
You know, 2-2 bases loaded. You got to make a pitch here. You don't want to go to 3-2 and kind of put the hitter in an advantage.
Bouncing ball to 3rd. Henderson stabs it, steps on the bag, running throw, picked by Mountcastle. Beautiful plays on both ends. Run comes through the back door. 10-4 Texas.
Yeah, if that play was a little different, you typically are going to try to prevent the run at home, being down by 6. But that ball and that throw he was going to have to make at home was going to be more difficult. Down the line, his momentum was taking him towards the bag. And typically, like I said, you would try to look home first, but he had his mind made up to turn 2 and limit the damage to just 1 so far.
2nd and 3rd, 2 out, and Adolis Garcia taking a ball. So the Rangers have scored in 3 of the last 4 innings. Garcia, who's 1 out of 3, is ahead 2-0. Scored 10 runs more than any team in baseball this year, more than the Rangers ever had. They got their first 10 spot of the postseason here. 2-0. Of a spinner there off the end of the bat. A lot of English on it, but an easy one for Mateo to pick up nonetheless. Rangers get 1 back. Well, they put Jordan Montgomery in the rocking chair early on with those 9 runs over the first 3 innings. It is 10-4 as we go to the bottom of the 5th. Game 2 of this best of 5.
I'll tell you what, I know the stat line looks different for Montgomery, but it's actually been a really good start considering all the time in between innings.
Henderson trying to bunt his way aboard.
He's had to navigate what is an atypical game. You're used to being in rhythm. You go in, you go out, you got a certain time, and you keep repeating it. That has not been the case. This feels like, I guarantee you, been in enough games like this where he feels like I might be in the 8th inning mentally, because there's been so much that he's had to endure in time. If he gets through 5, he'll be considered a really, really good game. He might go longer, but this is the mental grind of what's really taking a long time for him to do his part.
Yeah, because he's had the breaks with all the offenses getting scored, but then the Orioles have threatened in every inning.
Yeah.
Got the 2 runs in the 1st. They got the 2 runs in the 4th. Been some high stress pitches, even with all the offense. Coming home with an 0-2 to Gunnar Henderson.
And part of that's being out of rhythm. You know, you try to tell yourself each inning, just go get the first guy, go get the first guy. But you'll take it. You don't care if you give up 5 and you lead with a 5-run lead, but you'll take this kind of game with the offense you was given.
Trying to get to 2-0 on this young postseason. 2-2 on Henderson.
You see what he did right there. Heim was giving him that position and flashing his glove back and forth like throw it right here, and he did. And he you know, almost got the call just off the plate. I love when catchers do that, and they entice you into getting the ball in a certain area.
One of the things John Heim was known as before he was a good hitter. He was great at doing this.
Yeah.
Henderson starting the 5th and hitting one to the moon. Wow, they won't even move. A majestic blast. Gunnar Henderson's first postseason home run, and it's a 10-5 game.
Well, this is the difference with pitching with the lead versus pitching in a tight game. Once it got to 3-2, his catcher set up right down the middle and made him earn it. Well, he earned it. That pitch was right down the middle, and rarely has Montgomery thrown a pitch right down the middle. It went from 0-2 to 3-2, and another nice feeling, even though you're down, for an Oriole hitter to get a home run, which they haven't hit many in the last 10 games.
No, that's only the 5th home run for the Orioles over their last 13 games. And that's why we keep going back to Brandon Hyde, talking about ways to try and, from his manager's chair, help the offense by putting Mateo in there, by putting Rutschman at leadoff. He'll certainly take some boom from his stars. Hayes has reached both times, walking a double. And he pokes a base hit the other way. These Orioles just refuse to lay down.
Well, I said a couple innings ago, this will show the character and the grind that they have. And they may not come back and win this game, but they're not going to go down easy. And that's just what their manager has told us what his club is about. They're young. They don't know any better, in a good way, because they've come up together, and all they know is close games, get it done, and they haven't been swept, which is an amazing statistic. Every team in baseball has gotten swept at least once.
91 consecutive series without being swept. That's the longest since World War II. Bradford, who's warmed up a couple times, is going to come into this game as Bruce Bochy makes the walk out there to take Montgomery out of the game. And so the Orioles score 5 against Montgomery, and now they get into that Texas bullpen, which has cracked before.
a little bit red and maybe bruised. That's because that slide at home, watch the ending of it. Oh. He got rewarded with a home run after that, and maybe a little bit of not a great feeling with that helmet.
Jeez. It's another day at the yard. A home run and a black eye. All right, so it's a 10-5 game after Henderson's home run. Aaron Hicks takes strike one. They're into the Texas bullpen. Bradford's warmed up a couple times and now comes in for his postseason debut.
He's going to throw against right-handers, mainly fastballs and changeups. An occasional slider, but you saw the changeup right there at first pitch.
Aaron Hicks knocked in the first 2 runs of the day for the Orioles. Takes high. So Jordan Montgomery is not going to qualify for a win in this game, leaving with nobody out in the 5th inning. Feels like he's been in there for,
I'm telling you, 8.
full lifetime, huh? Ground ball to third for Young. Charges and goes to second one. Simeon had a hard time getting it out of his glove, and they get just the lead runner.
Young is confident with his glove. Everything he does may not look pretty, but he's good with the glove. And that throw right there, just a little exchange problem. Made sure you get one. The play he made yesterday will go down. I'm telling you, if they go and win the series, you never know what would have happened if that play wasn't made.
One away for Westbrook. Should be pointed out too, John. Obviously the star of that play was Young, but Simeon catching the high throw to be able to then turn it on to first.
But the key thing for Young was he was thinking 2 the whole way. He could have just secured the 1 out. His release so quick to allow that high throw to be turned.
That's something that the Rangers have done so well this year. Just make the plays you got to make, and then some like that where you don't think it should be made that they still are able to make. Fewer errors than any team in Rangers history. Westberg on 1-1. Flies one to right center field. Garcia, 2 out. Josh Young has talked about how extra special this has been playing this postseason series here in Baltimore. He is a baseball historian that has long admired Brooks Robinson, and back in the city where Brooks did his thing at a level that not many guys ever did. And a week after Mr. Robinson passed away, Young playing third over there by the 5 that's painted in the grass as a tribute. Said he hopes that he did him proud yesterday. Ball on Cedric Mullins. Cedric looking for his first hit of this postseason at 0 for 2 today. And he's kind of the face of this slump at this point because his slump lines up with that of the team. Now 2 for his last 38.
Yeah, he could do so much and has done so much for this organization. You know when a player is searching and trying to grind to find the mechanics. Been hurt a couple different times. Interrupted season. Had some big hits down the stretch, but then lately looks like he's searching again.
A lot of thunder though in that small frame. Here he rolls one off of the hands to second for Marcus Simeon. And that'll do it for the Orioles in the 5th. They get into the Texas bullpen, and Gunnar Henderson gets his first playoff home run. Well, it's been just a beautiful day for a postseason game here in Baltimore. Low 60s. Sun going down, and a 10-5 lead for the Rangers as Evan Carter leads off. Top of the 6th inning. Takes a ball from Jack Flaherty. Carter has kept on going today. 0 for 2, but does have a walk. Bruce Bochy said this kid looks like he doesn't even know he's in the major leagues. He's been so calm since he got here. 1 month ago today. 2-0.
He's got a tremendous eye for a young player, and that only translates well as he continues to navigate through the big leagues, make adjustments. One adjustment he won't have to make is wild swings, because we haven't seen many. It takes a lot of trust to, on that count right there for a young hitter, 2-0, to say, most guys come out of their shoes swinging right there. He says, I'm not swinging until I get a middle-in fastball that I can do something with. If it's away, I'll tip my hat, give it to the pitcher, see if he can do it again.
Went after that one. 2-2. Second inning of work for Jack Flaherty. Give up 1 in his first inning. Try and cover as much of this game as he can here.
Be huge. I mean, putting up zeros the rest of the way in and giving your offense a chance to keep chipping away.
At the very least, cover up that pitching staff, even with the day off tomorrow. Little break going into game 3, which will be Tuesday in Arlington. Flaherty's 2-2. Swatted to center field, base hit for Evan Carter. The incredible Evan Carter. And he is the subject of our player profile, sponsored by Liberty Mutual. Out of Elizabethton, Tennessee. Second-round draft pick from there. On draft night, a lot of the analysts heard his name called, and the general reaction was, who? The quiet corner of Tennessee. Didn't play too many big-time events or on big-time travel team showcases. Rangers got tipped off on him because one of their longtime minor league staffers knew his dad. And then 2020 was his high school senior season. That got knocked out because of COVID. He played just 3 games, so he remained the Rangers' secret. And they were able to draft him in that second round. He was in A-ball last year. He was in Double-A up until about a month and a half ago. Goes to Triple-A for 1 week. And then Adolis Garcia gets hurt, and he gets called up. And Chris Young, the GM, said, I mean, I knew that he could help, but I didn't want, because they were struggling then. I didn't want it to be, Evan needs to come up here and save us. But that's exactly what he did. And there's Chris Young. Fantastic GM of the Rangers.
Well, if you want to be relentless in the playoffs and create pressure on the other team, get the leadoff batter on, and they've done that now, what, 4 times? My scorecard has so much traffic on it, I'm having a hard time. Like, you're better at it. So is 4 right?
Yes.
Okay, 4 times, and that's what you do in the playoffs. You take the crowd out of it on the road, and you put pressure on the pitching staff of the Orioles, and they have had it all day today.
9 hits, 8 walks. Only 1 clean inning in this game.
I'm trying to think, and I won't think too hard because I try to stay away from that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what the minimum runs given up could be. I mean, there's a way to work it where it's less than 10, but you think about it, 9 hits, 8 walks.
Right.
And 1 big swing, of course, was the grand slam, but it could be worse.
One-two from Flaherty to Jonah Heim, just outside.
It's amazing what these 2 games could end up being for the Rangers. They'll by far strike out more than the Orioles did.
There's another.
I mean, the Orioles only got 2 strikeouts today, and granted, you know, Montgomery and Heaney may not be. That's what we talked about, the contrast between the 2 pitching staffs. You're going to have power stuff versus crafty and sneaky, and it's worked well for the Rangers, and unfortunately for the Orioles, it hasn't. And it was oh so close to working out because those 2 strike pitches that the Rangers hit early deflated this crowd and really took the Orioles out of the game early.
10-5 the score. 6th inning. Carter's at first with 1 away for Nathaniel Lowe. Walked and scored. And takes a strike here. Lowe had his breakout season last year when he hit 27 home runs, hit .302 for the Rangers, won a Silver Slugger. This year's been really streaky. All told, it was a decent season, but really streaky and with a poor finish. He'd been their 3-hitter most of the year before Boch dropped in the last couple weeks.
And the thing about baseball is when the whole league starts pitching you the same way.
Here's your sign.
Yeah, and that's when you got to I call it close the door. And it works the other way too against a pitcher. When the whole league is approaching you or hitting you around, you got to change those trends. And he's trying to change it, but they're beating him with fastballs. And you know, of all the pitches that we see in the game, we've seen more spin than we see fastballs. So it's rare to see a hitter struggle with fastballs, and that's a mechanical thing, and they're trying to work that out, and he's trying to work it out. But that's the difference between the 2 years.
Well, Bruce Bochy was telling us he feels like he is close. He watches him take BP, says this guy hits it farther than anybody. And that extra cage work working against the high velocity machine. He thinks is close to paying off. Sure is nice when he's not hitting and he still get 10 runs. On 2-2, Lowe had a fastball and fouled it off. What a journey his baseball career has been. From Marietta, Georgia to 3 different colleges. And they got drafted in the 13th round by Tampa Bay, traded to Texas. Winding path, but good player. He's found a home in Texas. Another 2-2 from Flaherty. Is down and away, and the count's full. Knocked out his old team in the first round, knocked out his younger brother Josh in the first round. Josh Lowe of the Tampa Bay Rays. It's a proud family, 2 big leaguers. By all accounts, 2 great teammates, 2 great guys to have around. There goes the runner on a 3-2 that's bounced to third. Henderson will get low.
I don't know about you, but it always blows me away that families could have brothers. How about the Drews? All first-round picks. 3 of them. I mean, that always blows me away that you can have that journey be shared by your siblings.
Got to be a secret there, the way they're getting raised.
I guess.
Got the Seegers.
Yeah. I mean, it just seems there's
career.
more of it lately in the last 15.
Josh had a younger brother drafted by the Tigers. Josh Young, who's at the plate here. So I guess they all got brothers doing it. That bat is destroyed. And as he goes back to get a new one, we let you know that you got a chance to start Saturday strong with Big Noon Saturday on Fox, all getting started at 10 a.m. live from South Bend. And then at noon, J.J. McCarthy leads unbeaten and second-ranked Michigan against the Hoosiers against Indiana.
I knew I was getting old when I started facing father-sons.
There's your sign, buddy. Inside to get on Young. Sure is a great place, Camden Yards.
One of the best.
First postseason games they've hosted here in 9 years. 2016, that was the wild card game in Toronto. Too long. Baseball's better when the Orioles are good. A park like this gets to take center stage. 2-2 on Young. That sweet spot of having some of the modern amenities. It was built in 1992, but also feeling timeless, feeling like it's been here forever.
Yep.
Some folks that didn't buy tickets even getting a view out in center field. 3-2 on Young. They didn't buy tickets, but I'm sure they had to pay to get that view, one way or the other. Hotel. The room type, very important when you're booking that room. I need a room with a view of the game. Walk for Young. Kenny.
Guys, it's so funny you mentioned that the stadium feels like it's been here forever. When it opened in 1992, Cal Ripken said exactly that. It's a new ballpark, but it feels like it's been here forever. And that is the feeling that exists to this day.
Janet Marie Smith, Hall of Famer, has done so much with so many ballparks. This was her creation. And it kind of has been here forever in that they incorporated the B&O warehouse out there that was built in 1899. And that is kind of I think, what pushes that feeling into it. In the air to center field off of the bat of Leody Taveras. Mullins is there, and a scoreless inning for Jack Flaherty. Play Ball is baseball's global youth initiative to highlight the fun and accessible ways to play our great game. To learn more, including how to find a league near you, go to playball.org and follow @playball on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. 9-1-2 for the Orioles. This crowd still percolating, still feeling like there's a chance. And Mateo has been at the center of anything good that's happened today.
Small victories. They've accomplished some. They've scored some runs. Some hitters are getting going. They got to get in the bullpen more. They've got to make Bruce Bochy make more moves. The bullpen has been an issue for the Rangers, but not in the postseason. The postseason, they have been pretty unbelievable. It's the thing that they're worried about, but so far so good has been the pen.
2-1 Jorge Mateo. Yeah, the bullpen, which blew more saves than it successfully converted during the regular season, has given up 1 run over now 11 innings in this postseason. Ball 3 on Mateo. Love to get his speed aboard to open this inning. He's reached both times, doubling, singling, scoring a run, knocking in a run. Three and 2.
But again, this may feel like it's in the 8th inning. It's still only in the 6th. And so you chip away and you make it tougher for Bruce to go to his pen and high leverage guys, even with the day off tomorrow. You want to see more and more of their relievers.
And in the case of Aroldis Chapman, if the Orioles do get to the point where Bochy feels like he needs to use him, he probably will. But he's going to watch through his fingers because Aroldis Chapman going back-to-back has not been good.
This type of game, I would guess if it got close, Leclerc could be more than 1 inning being used for the Rangers.
3-2 to Mateo is lifted to right field, sending Garcia back onto the track and off the wall. Jorge Mateo have a day. Out of the 9th spot, he is 3 for 3.
That's exactly what they needed. Get runners on, keep getting runners on, put the pressure as much as you can. On a 5-run lead, you're not too worried until it starts getting in that 3 spot.
Well, the one swing from it getting there. And they've got Adley Rutschman at the plate. And they know it. Sellout crowd at Camden Yards. They know who they've got up there. They know what one swing could do to the tone.
And I'm sure Rutschman wants to check into that category too in the hit market early on in your postseason. Cross that thing off. Say you got your hit.
Wow. Backhand play by Lowe. Takes it to first. 1 away.
That ball was smoked.
Mateo to third. There's a short hop on that thing. And so it is a ground out to third and 1 gone.
That approach, the whole time it looked like he was trying to hit that hole where there was no second baseman. And that does 2 things. He hits the hole, he gets rewarded, and the run could score. But he moved him over to third now. Contact of any kind, unless it's back to the pitcher, will get you 1 run closer.
Matt Bush swarms for the 2nd day in a row. Strike 1 on Ryan Mountcastle. Came through with a man at third back in the 4th inning. This is one of the categories where the Orioles were the best in baseball this year. We talk about the quote-unquote little things. They were the best in baseball, getting a runner in from third with less than 2 outs.
Well, he's in the hole too. Now you really got to grind and cut down your swing a little bit. First 2 swings trying to hit 2-run homer. Now, to your point, that run in.
Bradford comes home. That strikes him out with a perfect high fastball.
Yeah, that was. He went upstairs and Mountcastle couldn't lay off of it. Trying to go in. Instead, the ball goes up and away. Frustrating at bat.
And how about Bradford here in his postseason debut? Gives up a double to the leadoff man. Top 2 guys in the order. He's retired. Up to Santander with 2 out. Painted with a change. Cody Bradford, 25 years old, from Texas. Former Baylor Bear. Home with an 0-1.
I know it seems like it ain't much, but this run would go a long way for the Orioles. It just keep getting closer. keep it going and keep the crowd engaged.
The rookie's 1-1 pitch. Santander swings through it 1-2.
He's made some pitches here with the runner on third.
Two and two. Orioles have 4 doubles in this game. They've only been able to score one of those guys. Mateo's at third. He's been stranded a couple times. 2-2 to Santander. And again, this is the other category. We just showed you that graphically, but this is the other category where the Orioles were the best in baseball this year with runners in scoring position. 2 out of 14 in this division series. The longest tenured guy right here, Anthony Santander. Runner at third, 2 away. 2-2 pitch. Pop-up, left side. Young is there. And despite the leadoff double, nothing to show for it for the Orioles. Corey Seager, who's walked 4 times in this game, coming up after this. The Hank Aaron Award is annually the best overall offensive performer in each league. Cast your vote for the top offensive performer in each league today by scanning the QR or enter at MLB.com/Aaron. Top of the order for the Rangers, which has been awesome today. Semien and Seager combined have reached in 7 of their 8 plate appearances. Semien's got 2 hits. He's also walked. Now those 2 guys, the 2 big ticket free agents that they signed. We started the day talking about the kids and Young and Carter, but the big ticket free agent guys in Semien and Seager getting the job done today. Tyler Wells into the game pitching for the Orioles. And ahead of Simeon, 0-2. Saw him yesterday and continued what has been a good month since coming back from the minors.
Yeah, he hit the ball a little bit in innings pitch. They got him out of the pen. He's got such great leverage at the top of the zone with his fastball.
Foul.
Being as tall as he is, he can go downhill, but he throws better up than most people. Just another guy that throws, what, 98?
Ho hum. Except he happens to be like 7 feet tall. It's 98 from way up there.
But it's a great package in today's style of hitting. Fastballs up and that good breaking ball right off the fastball, an occasional changeup.
Wells to Simeon, and a check swing tapper. Wells is there. Ooh, throw kind of took Mountcastle into the base path there. Still able to catch it.
Those plays are so hard for hard throwers when they make a fielding play because they're so used to going downhill and max velocity. They get a ball, and the throw to first is, you got to remember, just take your time, crow hop, and throw it. We've already seen a couple wild ones.
Yeah. History potentially here, Johnny. Many guys have walked 4 times in a postseason game like Corey Seager has today. Nobody's walked 5 times. Uh-oh.
Well, that's saying a lot, too, because that means they're not giving him much pitch to hit early on because he loves to swing.
Right. Usually it's over like that.
Yeah.
Doesn't it just show you the maturity of his approach, though, that he's the most aggressive guy in baseball first pitch, but then is perfectly comfortable settling into the at-bat? He's got an above-average walk rate on the year.
He doesn't help himself. He doesn't want that record. He wants to hit.
Give me a knock.
Who wants the walk record?
Not Corey Seager. No, he wants to bang.
But there's that high fastball. The way he throws it looks enticing to the hitter.
Count evens 2-2.
I've never seen anybody for 2 straight series dominate baseball like he did a few years back when he got the MVP in both back-to-back series for the Dodgers.
Here we go. Back on the verge of history, John.
I'd say it's 50-50.
I think, yeah. Let's call this coin flip. Here we go. 3-2. Oh! Fly to left field. Hayes coming on. He's got it.
He's still got time. He could come back up again.
He does. And he won't care any bit more to set that record when he comes up in the 9th. So 2 gone in the 7th inning. Orioles bullpen trying to keep it, relatively speaking, within range.
And again, small victories. If you can end the game with a bunch of zeros going into game 3, even though it's a day off, you start feeling just a little bit better about this juggernaut offense.
Which Mitch Garver's been a part of. Plugged into the 3 spot today. And it's not just the top 2 guys in the order. Garver, in his Rangers postseason debut, has a grand slam and has knocked in 5. 1 ball, 1 strike. So the top 3 in the order have reached in 9 of their 14 plate appearances. Scored 5 runs, knocked in 5 runs. Two and 1.
What's that movie where they keep going back in time and then doing things and keep going back?
Back to the Future?
No, Edge of Tomorrow or
Groundhog Day?
No, I'll get the name. But my point is, can you imagine going back to Seattle and replaying that? Replaying that emotional, and then but they're here, right? You wouldn't think that path of that letdown would lead them here on the verge of a 2-0 lead in the 2nd series.
Yeah, the ability to not dwell on what happened, the ability to not look ahead to anything and just live right here. Been remarkable. Hot tub time machine. Hot tub time machine. Is that your name? Oh, come on. All right. Here is the game summary. Second game in this best-of-5 division series. Rangers won a tight one yesterday, 3-2. They broke it open with 5 runs in the second, 4 runs in the third today. They lead 10-5. This is kind of who the Rangers have been this year, an explosive offense. Today, the big swing came from Mitch Garver in his first start in the postseason as a Ranger. It was a grand slam back in the third.
Well, the Rangers, they've scored 10 or more runs 26 times this year. And that's the most, of course, in Major League Baseball. So they're accustomed to putting the double digits on the board. And a lot of those came probably off of some position players that came in once it was out of hand.
Yeah, they faced position players. I guess maybe you should say they induced position players pitching more than any offense.
Yep.
Gunnar Henderson, who hit his first postseason home run his last time up. Part of a 2-for-3 day, is up there to lead off the 7th. Goes after the first one, launches it down the line, foul. Even with the deficit being 7 runs after the third inning, this place has kept the energy up, trying to will this team forward. And they've chipped away. They got 2 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th, and managed to make it feel closer than it feels like it should in a 5-run game.
Exactly. And I felt last inning would have gone a long way just to get that extra run to get down to 4. But give Bradford some credit for getting out of that man on second, nobody out.
Yeah, the rookie in his postseason debut. This is high here.
And there's a lot of things that have gone away from what the trends have shown for Baltimore. When they get 10 or plus hits, man, do they got a good record. When they score more, 5 or more, man, do they got a good record. When they score first, and all of those, unfortunately, are not working.
Henderson down on strikes, 1 gone in the 7th inning. The postseason continues next. Game 2 between the Astros and the Twins. It was an interesting game 1 where it looked like the Astros were going to roll them, but then the Twins came back, made it interesting late. And then tomorrow back to the National League side. Over on TBS, Diamondbacks, Dodgers, and Braves and Phillies. Here's your pitching matchup for game 2. It's a good one. Pablo Lopez and Framber Valdez. Strike on Hayes.
Boy, you would have to imagine there's some must-win situations in Atlanta and LA. It's not out of possibility of being able to win 3 in a row if you go down 0-2, but it doesn't look good if the best teams in baseball go down 0-2 at home to some hungry teams in Philadelphia and Arizona.
Hungry team, but also a team that knows it can beat you.
Yeah.
In the case of the Phillies, because you did last year. And then Diamondbacks seem like they gather belief every game.
Yeah.
What do you think of Bobby Miller, who's going to go for the Dodgers?
I love his arm. I think he has come on and he could be the right guy at the right time for the Dodgers. Electric arm.
Hayes down swinging, and how about Cody Bradford?
And how about Bruce Bochy having the confidence to just keep him in there because he likes the way he's throwing the baseball. Good over the top fastball that has late life to it.
Two gone on back-to-back Ks. Hicks pops this one out of play. Rangers trying to get to 2-0 in this best of 5. Astros will try to do the same tonight. Long way to go in both series, but that would be some kind of rumble. Rangers, Astros, who duked it out during the regular season. Those teams don't like each other. Came down to a tiebreaker for the division. Down the line, long run for Garcia. Into the corner, he's got room. And a 1-2-3 inning for Bradford. In the third, they lead 10-5 as we move along to the 8th inning, and Adolis Garcia goes up there to face Cionel Perez.
This guy on the mound is a perfect example how genetics. I mean, you wonder how does a guy like that generate the kind of velocity and stuff that he does, but he's got a good arm and he's having a really good year for the Orioles.
27 years old, from Cuba. He had a +6 ERA over parts of 4 seasons with the Astros and with the Reds, and then he goes to the Orioles last year, had a 140 in his first year here. Ooh, look out. Garcia with a smash right back at him.
That was athletic just to get out of the way and get a glove on the ball. I mean, right up the wickets. Ooh.
He's okay. Maybe to dance over that thing. Garcia's on.
Another leadoff hitter on for Texas.
5.
Yep.
8 innings. 10 hits. And 9 walks in this game. And now it's Evan Carter taken inside, and ball 1. Walking a single for Carter. It is mad dash through the minor leagues. You're talking about him getting drafted in the 2nd round. Not many people knew about him. 2020. Texas minor league player of the year, is the youngest guy in A-ball last year. He was 19 years old for a lot of the season. Dominated this year as the youngest player on their AA roster. AAA at the end of August. 4 hits in his first game there, and up to the big leagues a week after that. Wondering what's the next league, what's the next jump in difficulty level, because he's made this look pretty easy too. Guy that up until the day he was drafted thought he was going to go play at Duke and study to be a dentist. Valedictorian of his high school class. Hot. On 3-1, Carter swings and misses, and a throw back to first.
Well, whatever they did on that plane ride from Seattle to Tampa offensively, they've clicked. They looked lost in Seattle. I did the game on Saturday, even the game they won there. Soft contact and walks. And Bruce Bochy was like, I just don't understand. Sometimes our offense disappears. Well, it has not disappeared in the last 4 games.
Strike 3 called on Carter. You know, we talk all about the free agents and Seager and Simeon, but Kenny, they've drafted and developed too.
They've done a much better job of late under their scouting director, Kip Fagg. And it's really key for them because if you look at it, Carter, a 2nd round pick in 2020, 50th overall. That same year, they acquired 2 other guys, or drafted 2 other guys that they wound up trading for Jordan Montgomery. They've also, of course, got at Roldis Chapman at this deadline, or shortly before the deadline. And to get him, they traded Cole Reagans, who actually became one of the better pitchers in baseball in the 2nd half for the Royals. He was the Rangers' 1st rounder in 2016. Oh, and let's not forget Josh Young, the 8th overall pick in 2019. So, like the Orioles, the Rangers are drafting and developing too.
Like the Orioles, they've endured 6 consecutive seasons out of the postseason. You know, the Orioles were able to get above 500 last year. The Rangers had 6 straight losing seasons after their last postseason trip. Ball and a strike on Heim. A different path back, and that it wasn't a complete teardown. They kind of spun their wheels while still being somewhat competitive for a couple seasons. Then even 2 years ago, they lost 102 games. Even last year, they lost 94. Seager and Simeon come over here thinking they're going to win. They lose 94 games their first year. They invest in pitching more this offseason. They get Bruce Bochy. Credit to Chris Young for making the trip up to Bruce's home around Nashville. Sitting down with him, talking into coming out of retirement. And he's told Bruce, look, because he played for him. He said, I'm not trying to get you to be our manager because I loved you as a player, and I did. I'm doing it because I think you're the guy that we need. That's a bouncer to short. Mateo on the move will get high.
Well, I'll tell you another thing that's going to be kind of like under the radar successful for them is the new stadium. They wore down pitchers in that heat, and the previous stadium, of course, didn't have a dome. This is a fantastic dome and will be loud, like you talked about. But that's going to help with the investment they made once those pitchers get healthy. That's some suppressing heat, having gone through there, and that was part of their problem. They couldn't keep their pitching staff was just wilting.
Strike one on low. 25 years at the ballpark in Arlington, Globe Life Field, where this series will head on Tuesday for this franchise in its 52nd year since moving from Washington, where they were the Senators. They've not won a World Series. Perez to low with an 0-1. That's fouled into the glove, and it's 0-2. We've got Nathan Eovaldi lined up for game 3. Orioles aren't certain who it's going to be. Kyle Gibson certainly a candidate for that, as is Dean Kramer. Garcia takes his lead from second as the other two comes home, and it's a fastball in there for strike 3. Scored a inning from CNL Perez. Orioles have 6 outs. They need 5 runs. Coming up after the game, stay tuned for the post-game show presented by Wagoneer by Jeep. Back in Baltimore, they've got 6 outs with which to work. They trail 10-5. They've been chipping away with 2 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th. Bottom of the order, and Jordan Westberg fouls off the first pitch from Cody Bradford, who is still going into his 4th inning of relief.
Bruce Bochy likes what he sees, how the ball's coming out of his hand, keeping the left-handers in there facing pretty much a heavy left-handed hitting team when they're right.
0-2 on Westberg.
Pitching to the left field wall.
That's what you got to do, right? You got to pitch to the park, pitch to the conditions. This guy in Bradford who, talking about pitching to the park, pitching to conditions, he pitched in the PCL, and none of those parks are fun to pitch in.
No.
And he was the PCL pitcher of the year this year. Went 9-2 with a 3.60 ERA in a league where the ERA is close to 5 collectively. They're taking a change there. Came up to the Rangers in May, split his time between the rotation and the bullpen. And didn't have great numbers, but Texas liking the fact that he throws with his left hand against this Orioles team.
Well, you know, people talk about how do you go in certain parks and how do you change your game plan, or do you change your game plan? If you're going good in most prototypical parks, you don't. But when you got like a Fenway, or even here now, or Chicago when the wind's blowing out or blowing in, you have to change. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck. If you're a fly ball pitcher and the wind's blowing out in Wrigley, you're in trouble. You better figure a way to get the ball on the ground. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But here specifically, man, can you pitch to the left field side?
Right down the middle. Westberg blinks through it. And for this Texas bullpen, 1 run in 13 innings in this postseason. Now, a quick word from FanDuel.
FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook.
It was, John, coming into this series, the clear biggest gap between these teams was that the Rangers bullpen could not stack up with the Orioles bullpen. And in this postseason, it's been remarkably good. Mullins pops it into shallow center field, and an easy one for Taveras.
Yeah, and I just like, I mean, you can call Bruce Bochy old school because he's been there, done that a long time. But one thing he's been able to do with the information is use his eyes and feel too. There's a reason why he wins a lot of championships and wins a lot of series. And leaving this pitcher in, most other teams wouldn't do that. They just wouldn't. They have a game plan. They don't deviate from it. But what he's doing and how he's throwing on the mound.
Jorge Mateo, strike one and a perfect pitch.
He's in rhythm. And every new guy you bring in, you don't know if they're going to be in rhythm or not. You don't know. The Orioles pen hasn't thrown enough strikes tonight.
Walter Alston once asked Sandy Koufax, how you feeling? You look like you're wearing down. And he said, I'm feeling a heck of a lot better than whoever you're going to bring through that door. You just don't know.
And people ask me all the time, and I know fans at home sit there and go, the guy struck out the side when he came in the 7th. Why can't he pitch the 8th? And he could. It's just not conditioned for it. The game is really scripted to have each pitcher pitch 3 outs. And I think the trend moving forward is if you find that monster in the pen that can throw 2 innings, multiple innings, wow, you've got an advantage.
Because the idea is to get ahead of the problem. But this seems like an advantage when you can recognize the time to buck that idea and roll with that.
Absolutely. I mean, we've seen it already, and it's been well documented. The Toronto situation, there's been many. The other team, when that pitcher comes out, is going, thank you.
Mateo has a 4-hit game. He hadn't had 3 hits in a game since April. And in his first postseason game, he's 4 for 4. He's got to be in there Tuesday, doesn't he? No, he doesn't play righties.
It'd be hard pressed to not have that energy in there, but we'll see. Certainly make it hard for his manager.
Rutschman again, and so in batting him leadoff, Hyde has accomplished getting him up there a bunch. This is his 5th AB. He's still looking for his first hit of this series.
I tell you, he could. There's got to be a point where Rutschman changes the game plan of taking that first pitch. And there'll be a point in this series where hopefully he does that to kind of change the narrative, but you're giving that pitcher a free strike sometimes.
Down the right field line, long way to go. Garcia not going to get there, and with Mateo's speed, he had a shot, but they'll hold him at third. Now the ball gets away momentarily, and Mateo stays there at third base. And I know you need a bunch, but with 2 outs, it's an interesting call there.
Well, he was definitely moving.
And there's a stop sign right away from Tony Mansolino.
Yeah.
That is going to do it for Bradford. Excellent work from the rookie in his postseason debut. Second and third. Ryan Mountcastle coming up. Adley Rutschman with his first postseason knock. Second and third. Ryan Mountcastle coming up, and the decision for Bruce Bochy is to go to Josh Sborz, who figured it out yesterday, but it took him a couple hitters. And after the game, he said that the reason he couldn't find the strike zone right away is because he couldn't see his catcher because of the glare bouncing off of the stands.
Well, he's going to see just fine, and it's a big, real rally killer if he can get this out. The Orioles, of course, trying to do anything they can to get closer, knowing that their closer, the Texas closer, still looming in Leclerc.
Ryan Mountcastle, second and third, 2 out. Ground ball to short, Corey Seager. It takes Josh Sborz one pitch to finish off the eighth. World Series game ever pitched. Game 5 of the 56 World Series. Don Larsen's perfect game. 2 years before that, Don was pitching for the Baltimore Orioles, and he went 3-21. Traded to the Yankees and actually came back here to Baltimore at the end of his career. Yunior Cano comes on to face Josh Young. 9th inning in a 10-5 game. Cano's the guy that's taken over. I don't want to necessarily call it the closer, but he's the closest thing they've had to a traditional closer since Bautista went down.
And they had a 1-2 punch as good as anybody. And it's so bad that Bautista got hurt and unfortunately will need Tommy John surgery. But as we talked about, they statistically were pretty darn good when he left, just plugging different guys in the 9th inning.
Down the line and a fair ball for Josh Young. Hustling his way to second. And he's got a leadoff double. Second hit of the day. And his 5th extra base hit in the last 3 games.
Well, it's going to be hard pressed to play a better game offensively than what these Rangers have done here on the road. Again, defying every trend that was coming into this. On the road, they didn't play very good. Their bullpen wasn't very good down the stretch. Offense struggling like crazy. But they've turned all those facets around for the time being. They look like the team that kind of was in first place most of the year and have control over this series for sure.
Well, today they've got 11 hits. They've got 10 walks. They've put it all together. A team that was in first place for 160 days during the regular season. They had a 6.5 game lead in late June. Then an up and down second half. Dealt with injuries. 4 of the 5 all-star players they had in the lineup were on the IL one point or another in the second half. 1 and 2 on Tavares. They had Eovaldi go down for all of August. They get Scherzer, then lose him. And this is all at the end of the year we're talking about. There's Gray. Yeah, right at the end of the season. Donnie Ecker, their bench coach, and their offensive coordinator, a baseball offensive coordinator.
And they lost Hernandez in the bullpen at the end of the year.
The way this offense has gone, maybe everybody should hire an offensive coordinator in baseball.
I'm telling you, again, they've executed whatever they weren't doing. They made the on-the-fly adjustments. They will, if they win this series, beat the 2 best records in baseball in the American League.
Full count on Tavares. And it's just relentless. I mean, you look down here with Tavares, the 9-hitter. He's doubled. He's walked twice. I mean, he's 5 out of 14 in this postseason. He's your 9-hitter that nobody even talks about.
Well, for most of the year, that's why Semien had so many RBIs.
Yeah. Grounder up the middle, ramps over the mound to a charging Mateo to get Tavares. And we didn't even mention Young before him. Might have won Rookie of the Year if he hadn't gotten hurt. It's been awesome in this postseason as the 8-hitter. And turn it around to these guys where there typically is traffic for them.
100 RBIs out of a leadoff hitter doesn't happen very often. I know Acuna reached that, I believe. Did Betts get 100?
Yes. Grounder to a drawn-in Mateo. Couldn't get it out of his glove, and Young's going to come in to score. Yeah, prior to this season, there had been 2 leadoff men to drive in 100 in baseball history. There were 3 of them this year alone.
Yeah.
Semien, Acuna, Betts. Well, Semien gets the RBI. Young in to score. 2 gone with the bases empty. And Corey Seager, another chance to make history. 4 walks today. Ball 1. There's never been a guy in a postseason game to draw 5 walks. Do they go to Leclerc with a 6-run lead?
Yeah, you know, get him some action. Get him in there. Got a day off tomorrow. In a perfect world, no. don't give Baltimore any more looks at their closer. But
and this is close to a perfect world as you're going to get to not have to do that, though. A 6-run lead.
Correct. That's why they got another guy kind of getting loose quickly. It's Burke. Real quickly.
1-2 from Cano is taken low. Count evens 2-2 on Seager.
These last 3 pitches will help that young man get ready. I think a lot of it will depend on how much longer this at bat goes before he's able to enter into the game. That's something I was not very good at for a while.
Getting ready quick
as a closer.
Yeah.
I just didn't know. I mean, I was used to 55 pitches before I go into a game for a starter. And Darren Holmes, who is with the Orioles, he came to me after my first 3. He goes, you're going to have to cut that down to 15, young man. I'm like, what? He said 15 pitches. You better learn how to get ready in 15 or less, because that's what it's going to take.
You used to have 4 days and 55.
Yeah.
Huh?
You know what's funny about that is I never knew what I threw. And I asked Leo.
Like how many?
Right.
Yeah.
And I asked him, just don't tell me. But after 3 starts, I want to know what the range is. And it was almost identical between 51 and 55 pitches every time.
Corey Seager becomes the first guy in postseason history in 1,760 postseason games to walk 5 times. Leave it up to number 5.
Look at you.
Hey,
picked that up right away, didn't you?
I did, yeah. And you know what? Grew up dreaming of calling postseason baseball, and I told my parents, Mom, Dad, I want to grow up and call history. 5 walks in a game, fly ball to center field. Off of the bat of Garver, that will hang in the yard for Mullins. Rangers had a run, 11-5. Who's coming in? Looks like Burke. Bottom of the 9th inning here in Baltimore, where they will have to hope for 2 wins in Texas to get postseason baseball here again for a Game 5. And it will be Burke out of the bullpen. Brock Burke instead of Jose Leclerc. Just in case.
I like this guy. You see the walks to strikeouts, outstanding. He gets a good arm angle. He can get in to left to right-handed hitters, but his heartbeat maybe just slowed down just a little bit. He was racing to get ready, and now he's in the 9th inning. And his goal and job is to not get Leclerc back fired up, to get in the game, finish it off himself.
He'll have to earn it. Big hitters coming up here. 3, 4, and 5 for the Orioles. Anthony Santander, who followed his 2-hit game with a home run yesterday by going 0-4 so far today. And his Orioles fans trying to urge him on one more time here. Also perhaps sensing that it's going to take quite a run in Texas to be able to show their team an appreciation again this year. Because what a year it's been, no matter how it ends. 101 wins for a team that just a couple years ago lost more than 100. Caught in center field by Mullins. Greatest 2-year turnaround in baseball history. And a lot like Philadelphia and their city and their fan base was a big part of last year's run. I think this fan base coming back to Camden Yards, this city wearing Orioles caps again, taking the paper bags off. That's been a big part of what's made this summer special here.
It sure has. And again, I know this is not something they want to hear here if they don't win the series and come back. It's a preview. Nothing's guaranteed. You know, everyone thinks, oh, well, but it's a preview to what is going to happen more than not in this city. And you'll see that apparel being worn proudly.
1-1 on Gunnar Henderson. And again, not saying the Orioles are finished.
No, they haven't been swept all year. So they'll test that come Tuesday, barring a incredible comeback here in the 9th.
We've talked about how the Orioles of the last year plus have reminded you of the '91 Braves, where you didn't see anybody wearing Braves apparel.
No.
You guys had lost a lot in recent years.
Yeah, we were on that superstation, which wasn't fun when you're losing 100 games, but it became fun when you start winning a lot.
1-2 coming to Henderson. Well, the guys the Orioles are likely going to have throwing games 3 and they hope 4. Pretty good options as well.
Yeah.
Dean Kramer's been good in the second half. Kyle Gibson quietly fantastic in September. And you mentioned something else, John, during the commercial. Yeah, they're going to have to deal with Nathan Eovaldi, who's awesome, but he also throws with his right hand, and he's the first starter they're going to see right-handed.
Yeah, and I think they're set up better to face right-handed pitching because there's a lot more of it. And, of course, they built their club around it. And here's the other thing. I mean, it also reminds me, obviously, not the same kind of series, but, you know, the Cubs came back from 3-1 in the World Series because their pitching was lined up to do it. They got the pitching. There's no doubt. Baltimore has the pitching, but it's can they quiet down the hitting of the Texas Rangers, who now get to go home for the first time in a while.
Henderson takes a walk. On for the 3rd time today.
Like, I would consider if you had to come back with Bradish and even or Grayson, that's a tough task second time around for the Rangers. Even though it's a tough task to face the Rangers, you got to believe their power stuff is when they're on, they could beat anybody.
Austin Hayes, 2 hits and a walk today. Hayes has his 3rd hit.
again, even if they don't come back and rally, it starts feeling better individually. We talked about the lack of hits these guys have been getting. What is that? 13 hits, 12, 13 hits, whatever that is. So now they're forcing the closer to get back up, tell him he's ready, get him in the game. Those are all small victories. They're not, at the end of the day, if they lose, going to feel great about it, but they force the closer into the game and they'll get to see him, and who knows?
Yeah, they're going to see him right here. They've actually out-hit Texas in this game, out-hitting them 13-11, but they issued 11 walks. And the biggest swing of this game was a grand slam, making the most of the hits they've gotten. So Leclerc's going to have to come in. This is the 4th postseason game the Rangers have played. It'll be the 4th appearance for Mr. Leclerc. Day in DFW. Tuesday, 7 o'clock. Coverage begins on Fox. And Wednesday will be game 4 if necessary. If they can get it to a game 5, it would be Friday back here in Baltimore. Aaron Hicks is going to bat here with 2 runners aboard in the 9th inning. The Orioles have forced Bruce Bochy to get Leclerc into this game. He'll now have pitched in all 4 games during this postseason run.
He's been their guy of late. They needed it. They needed somebody to settle down what had been a rocky bullpen. And he's been really good of late.
Nothing doing over his first 3 games in the postseason. Hicks, who knocked in the first 2 runs for the Orioles. That feels like it was days ago. They made it 2-0 Baltimore in the first inning.
Yeah, it's one of those crazy games you chalk up. If you come on the other end, you go, phew. Remember when we were up 2-0?
Right.
Remember when this place was going crazy?
That's it well. Deep right center field. Aaron Hicks hits it out. 3-run home run. Not dead yet.
Well, in the small victory department, they are racking them up. They're still down 3, but they got to look at the closer. They got to look at feeling better about scoring. This is a club that hadn't scored 8 runs in the last maybe 5 games, and even though they're trailing, that's got to feel a little bit better to go on the plane to Dallas again if they don't come back and tie it or win it.
5 RBI game for Aaron Hicks. At his first postseason home run since he took Justin Verlander deep a few years ago in the championship series. Ryan O'Hearn pitch hitting for Jordan Westburg and taking ball 1 from Leclerc.
But getting looks at the guy you're going to have to face. If you're going to come back, maybe your offense never sees him again and you win 3 in a row, but more than likely you're going to see him again. And getting him in the game was important.
Orioles trailed this game by 7 runs. Only 3 times in postseason history has a team erased that deficit to win. 3-0 on Ryan O'Hearn.
Part of getting ready as a closer, when you know you're going to go in and the team scores a run or 2 and then you're on pause and the other guy gets ready really quick. I'm not saying that you go down a little bit, but it's not the same as coming in knowing you're going to be 2 or 3 runs down. Like, this is not a save opportunity, but nobody cares at this point. You know, Bruce Bochy's like, hey, I'm bringing in my guy to get this thing over with.
Fly the other way. Carter's going back into the gap. He's got it over the shoulder. And O'Hearn is cursing that wall being moved back. 2 gone in the 9th.
Yeah, he smoked that. What a great swing and ball that's driven to the track. Another good thing that could happen for the Orioles is this young man gets on base, gets a hit, feels something positive.
Mullins 0 for 4 today, 0 for 7 in this series, and now 2 of his last 40. Ball, 1 strike. Good layoff, 1-2. Leclerc trying to squash it. Orioles just kept on coming though. Trailed by 7, they've cut it to 3.
They weren't going to quit. That's not in their clubhouse or their DNA.
Down to the last strike here. Jose Leclerc fires. And the Texas Rangers take both games in Baltimore. They've got a 2-0 series lead over the top team in the AL during the regular season. That was a 3-2 thriller in the first game. They broke it open early here in game 2 and then got a little too close for comfort for the Rangers late, but ultimately an 11-8 win. And the Rangers are 1 win away from the American League Championship Series and their first postseason trip in 7 years. Now we get you to Matty V and the guys in the studio for more postseason coverage.